Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Mormon Stories podcast. I'm your host, John DeLynn. It's January 22nd, 2026, and today we will be interviewing the first family baptized into the Mormon Church in Italy after World War II. We'll be hearing their story, and perhaps more interestingly to some of our audience, coming to understand why this family has decided to or has left the Mormon Church. So without any further ado, we introduce to you Leopoldo Larcher. Hello, Leopoldo. Thanks for joining us.
Nice to meet you.
And with Leopoldo today is his daughter, Emiy. Hey, Emiy.
Hello.
And Emiy, your maiden name is Larcher, but your current last name is Guincho. Is that right?
Guincho, yeah. Guincho.
Guincho.
Yes.
All right. Well, we really appreciate y'all being here, and we're really excited to hear your Italian Mormon story. And joining us in the studio, we're super fortunate to have my wife and co-host, Margie. Hey, Margie.
Hello.
And Margie's a quarter Italian, by the way. Her mom is half Italian. So it's an Italian Mormon story all the way around today. All right. Well, I don't think that we've ever interviewed an Italian family on Mormon Stories podcast. So this is a first. We have a goal to cover as many countries as we can on Mormon Stories. Mm-hmm. So that's something that's really exciting to hear about today. But also, your family in particular has held several important positions in Italy, including mission president in Italy. Yep. Is that right?
Yes.
And temple sealer, is that also
course,
right?
Yes.
Yeah. And over the years, you had the privilege or opportunity to meet with several Mormon general authorities and apostles. So
at that time, I was also regional representative.
You've been an area authority for the Mormon Church as well. Wow. So this is like Hans and Birgitta Mattson level Mormon stories, or Tom Phillips level Mormon stories. I want to ask you if you've received your second anointing.
No, but he knows about it.
He knows about it? Okay.
Actually, I don't know if he got it. Did you?
Ti ha dato la seconda unzione. Ti hanno lavato I piedi mai?
Non ho capito.
Ti hanno mai lavato I piedi?
No, ma io ho fatto il traduttore. Okay.
Oh, wow. I did not know this. He did not receive his second anointing, but he was a translator.
Was President Monson, the Apostle Monson came to the Swiss temple.
Guarda lui.
and requested me to make a translation of what he was doing to some of our brethren in the church.
Okay. Well, this will be fun, so buckle up. Leopoldo, why don't we start with you? Where in Italy were you born, and what year were you born?
Okay, I was born in 1939.
Okay.
And in a small village close to Bologna.
Okay. And where is that in Italy?
Emilia-Romagna region. It's, well, we say northern part of Italy.
And 39 would have been, I guess, Benito Mussolini would have been the head of Italy at the time.
That part of the story.
You're not a fan of Mussolini?
Absolutely.
Do you remember Mussolini?
No, I was too small.
Okay.
My brother maybe would remember.
Okay.
But, well, I started to understand after World War II.
Yeah. So would Italy have already been entered into World War II when you were born in 1939?
Era già entrata in guerra l'Italia quando tu sei nato?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, but you wouldn't remember.
We suffered the American bombing.
Okay. Yeah.
First that, and then the rescue of the Americans.
Yeah, that story. Bad story.
Okay. Okay, so you were, and I imagine your family was Roman Catholic when you were born?
I would say like majority of the Italian family.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So how did your family first encounter Mormon missionaries? What year and how?
Oh, that I was I was married, and I had the first baby. So means 64.
Yes.
1964.
1964.
Okay.
It was strange because my brother at that time was living in Germany for work.
Okay.
And somehow my brother was speaking to my mother, my father, about this new church. So beautiful, so interesting. So my brother said, okay, why we try to send missionary? He was asking to the leaders in Germany, why we don't send a couple of missionary to my parents? They probably are ready to receive that message.
So your brother joined first in Germany?
Yeah, in Germany.
Okay. And it's hard for me to believe that there weren't Mormon missionaries in Italy prior to the 1960s.
No, they weren't. Because I remember that when they were talking about a brother that was baptized in Sicily by an apostle. I don't even remember that name.
So his name is Vincenzo di Francesca.
Di Francesca, yeah.
And there's a video that the church has put out, and it's a miraculous story because he finds this book without a cover.
Lui era un sacerdote.
He was a priest for an Episcopalian church, I'm not sure. And he was interested in finding out the source of this book because he didn't know the title. There was no cover.
Is this How Rare a Possession, the movie?
It is.
I remember seeing this growing up in the church.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he...
What year was this about?
Late 1800s, I believe. Maybe beginning of 1900s.
They were blocked. They couldn't move. He couldn't go to Rome.
Because of war, he couldn't get to... Anyway, you can watch the movie, but he couldn't get to be baptized because of all the war tensions and all of it. He was able to communicate by writing letters to Salt Lake and was able to get baptized at the end of his life, I believe. And he got to go to the Temple, Switzerland, because that was his highest goal. But then he died right after. So basically that was the end of it. But they did make a movie, and it's pretty significant. He was a priest. So.
I couldn't meet him. It was too late.
Yes. He passed away in 1929. No.
I don't remember.
I can't remember.
So did you end up meeting missionaries as a result of your brother?
Yeah.
Is that how that happened?
Happened that missionaries tried to talk to my parents, but they were old, and they said, "Really, we don't want to change." I recognize that the Mormon church is very good, but we are used to, we are old, and we don't want to change. So they talked to me and my wife, and everything seems to be so beautiful. So we accepted, like baby, accepted that. Mm-hmm. So we started to investigate, and everything was wonderful. Then it was in August, and in Italy, in August, everyone goes to the sea for vacation. And so we said to the elder, we have to go because it's the only time we have during the year to have to rest, to enjoy life. And so they said, we can come with you. Okay.
We have an idea.
So they came. And we found for them an apartment, a rented apartment, so stayed there. So to make the story short, we were given all the lesson, the discussion They were given all on the beach under the umbrella.
That has to enhance. I feel like the discussion experience.
It is. So at the end of the week, in just 1 week, at the end of the week, we decided to be baptized in the sea.
Wow.
So the question was, well, we don't have the white dress. So what we do? Oh, we can baptize you. You are. So my wife was in bikini. I was in my pants. And we went in the sea. But in order to find water enough high, we had to go what we call the first seca.
I had to walk a long ways away because it was sandbar all the way.
Got it. To get it deep enough.
So we found a place and we were baptized. The joy of one of the two elders was so great that he made un tuffo.
He dove in the water.
And coming out of the water, he lost his glasses.
His what?
Oh, my
His
glasses.
Oh, yeah.
So I went down, and fortunately, I got in my hand the glasses. So that's one story.
And Leopoldo, what convinced you to join the church? Was it prayer? Was it reading the Book of Mormon? Was it just these nice missionaries?
I would say all of them, practically. But I think the ability of the elders and explain the good things and the differences between the Catholic Church. We were not very active in the Catholic Church, but we had the impression that the Catholic Church was not too far from our ideas. So when the missionaries started to talk about the gospel, we said, well, that sounds good. I want to attend all the functions, but there was not a church. There were only two elders, and only for a month. And then they went back because that time was the last month of their missions. So they went back. Going back, we were left alone. We had only the address of the Swiss mission where we were supposed to send our tithing.
They made sure they let that.
I was going to say, you
And
had the
that
contact
was for 6 months.
Oh, wow.
When finally 2 missionaries from a Swiss mission came visiting us. And that started. So we had the meeting in our apartment. We were moving the furniture in order to make room.
And what city was this again?
65.
Che città?
65 in what city?
Che città?
Dove?
Brescia.
Brescia.
That's a city?
A city
Yes.
in the north of Italy.
Okay.
It's between Milan and Venice.
Got it.
That's where they make the Beretta guns. Let everybody know that.
Okay.
You have to excuse my English; it's very poor.
No, it's
Oh, it's
fantastic.
fantastic.
I cannot improve. I am 86, so
It's fantastic.
my mind is going different. Anyway,
Okay. Did you read the Book of Mormon?
yeah, we had the Book of Mormon in Italian.
Okay. And so there was a Book of Mormon in Italian, but not any missionaries in Italy yet.
No,
Okay. And
until 65.
65?
Yeah, the first mission, Italy mission, with a seat in Florence.
okay.
And then somehow I was called as counselor of the mission president,
So you were called into the mission presidency in Florence.
Florence.
But
I
you
had-
didn't live in Florence.
Nope.
You did not live in Florence.
No, in Brescia. Brescia, going down to Florence is
3.5 hours.
more than that. Of those days, there is no highway.
Oh, there wasn't a highway. So yeah, about
wow.
4.5 hours.
Interesting.
Anyway,
Okay.
this is up this point.
Okay.
And then, what do you want from me?
So one of the things I remember about learning very distinctly in the 1980s was the teaching that the Catholic Church, the Mormon teaching, that the Catholic Church was the great and abominable church mentioned in the Book of Mormon. It was actually referred to as a
La cosa
harlot.
che si ricorda era che nel libro di Mormon la Chiesa Cattolica veniva riferita come la prostituta.
I didn't know that. We were
Non
not.
l'avevi letto?
No.
Okay.
I didn't.
So you weren't, and I think the Book of Mormon even references the Catholic Church as the great and abominable whore as well. And so I was just wondering if any of that sort of messaging would have gotten to you living in the country that is the seat of the Roman Catholic Church.
I was not aware of that.
Okay.
I didn't know anything.
Yeah, I don't think it specifically says that the Catholic Church is the whore of the earth.
So it didn't in the Book of Mormon, but Bruce R. McConkie's Mormon Doctrine said
Yes.
yeah.
And that never came to their attention.
that. Okay.
They made sure that
But
did not
I
get
didn't care
translated.
too much, It's the same problem now.
Yeah. Which is what?
The saints in Italy,
Uh-huh.
they know nothing about what happens here.
Right.
So I don't know. It seems that the information remain in United States.
Yeah.
They don't go in Europe
Interesting.
and not in Italy.
Yeah.
When I present some question to a friend of mine about the church that has done something not totally perfect, they don't believe me. They don't want to believe. They want some paper that justify what I am saying.
Mm-hmm.
They want proof. What he's
proof
saying
of
is,
the prova provata.
he wants the proof they want the proof from the church saying what he's stating,
Yeah.
basically.
So
What are your
I'm without
sources?
arms.
Right.
Sono senza
Senza
armi,
I'm without weapons.
weapons.
I see.
So what's it like to raise a young family in the church in a foreign country when there isn't a strong ward or a strong stake, and there might not even be a branch? How do you stay faithful and interested and engaged in the church?
Well, we were our branch, our family. My family.
Your family was the branch.
One baby. And we were
Intimate.
keeping the meetings, Sunday meetings in my apartment, and that was a branch. But really, we were not a branch. We were just group,
Right.
or even less than a group.
Yeah.
I have a question with regard to, after you were baptized, did you have to change your life? Did you have to change kind of the way you were living? Did you drink coffee? Did you, I'm curious in what way it changed you, the living of your life?
Well, really, it is difficult to me to explain this, but we adopted all the church instructions, and we lived for them, and we didn't care much about what the people were saying. We were satisfied, and everything was good for us, and we accepted all the information that were coming little by the missionaries, because they were the only people we could meet. And even when the first mission president was called, we didn't get much instructions So we had the Book of Mormon, missionary. The church was based on that. Good or not, that was.
Do you want me to translate the question? Because I don't think he got
I mean, that was really useful information. Is there anything else you want to ask him?
Ti ha chiesto come era cambiata la tua vita da prima di battezzarti e dopo di essere battezzato. È cambiata in qualche modo o no?
Quello che dicevo, my life is not changed.
Your life did not
Because
change.
we were a good family.
You didn't smoke cigarettes or drink alcohol.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
or even coffee? You didn't drink
we were
coffee?
clean, yeah. So we didn't have a problem to accept that rules.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I see.
So
Okay.
it was so easy. And we
right.
said, maybe we were prepared
Right.
for joining the church. So
Yep.
What was your profession? What was your job?
at that time, I was, come si dice?
A lavanderia?
Lavanderia industriale.
A laundromat?
An industrial laundromat for hospitals and restaurants.
I was the technical. I was responsible for keeping all the machinery working.
Got it.
That is my job.
So you're kind of a mechanic?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, what was it like? How did you see the church grow in Italy from when you joined to, the next several decades? What are your observations about how the church grew in Italy?
Fammi la domanda meglio.
Quali sono le osservazioni che hai fatto nel vedere la Chiesa crescere nelle decadi succedenti?
Okay.
How'd they do it?
Come hanno fatto a crescere?
See. Well, I think the major reason is that, according to my understanding, is that the majority of the Italians are tired of the Catholic Church. This is also why the Jehovah's Witnesses are growing. So the Italian saints are tired to see priests and bishops and archbishops doing only a scene of theater. Questo è un teatro, quello che si vede della
They're
Chiesa
just putting up
Cattolica.
a show. The Catholic Church is just putting up the show of whatever it is that they're doing. And the people in Italy are...
colors, fancy.
So Italians, you perceive that Italians generally were tired of the Catholic Church, that they had all this fancy dress and pomp and circumstance and ritual, but they weren't really engaging the Italian people meaningfully.
And this is why the Italians accept very, very rapidly the Mormon Church and Jehovah's Witnesses, because we were those simple. We were like normal men and normal women. And this is why. And now it's different. Now it's different.
Okay. And then you said general authorities would visit your family or visit Italy while you were living there? Do you have memories of general authorities visiting?
Depends. With what are we talking about? When I was mission president?
All the way through.
In general.
Before that, every once in a while, they were saying when the general authorities had to go to East, they stopped to Rome. Always. So they dedicated 1 or 2 days talking to the elders, to the missionaries, and talking to the saints. So I received a lot of instruction by them. Yeah.
Are there any names that you remember of general authorities that you met over the years?
Almost all of them.
Okay. So when you joined the church, David O. McKay would have been prophet?
Yeah.
Did David O. McKay ever come to Italy?
I am not seeing him.
Okay.
Except when I came here to Salt Lake.
Okay.
Because of responsibility I received after mission services.
Okay. So I'll just name some names. Did you ever remember meeting Spencer W. Kimball?
Yes.
What was he like?
I do.
What was he like?
Faccio quella...
Whatever you want.
Okay. Well, I was called by... At that time, I was already regional representative. So I received a desire from the local leaders to come to Salt Lake on the next visit and to complain for a movie that was prepared for the church in Italy using Italian saints. And that film, I ate it. And the saints, the leaders of the church, they were saying, we can't use it. Please go there and tell the leaders, tell to the prophet that you can't. They can't use this film. We will not use it, they said. So I came here for another reason. I came for Homefront si chiamava?
Homefront?
Yeah.
Non so
Quella
cos'è.
pellicola dei 10 minuti alla mattina della domenica.
Whoa, I have no idea. He's saying that there used to be a film.
Spoken word. Come
Oh,
on.
music and spoken word?
Music and
Okay, not a
spoken
film.
words.
So that was the Mormon Tabernacle Choir broadcast.
Yes.
Yeah. And I was called to... Non mi ricordo come si chiama il nome di quel fratello che era sempre lì. Comunque mi hanno sovrapposto a lui e ho letto in italiano.
Okay, so he was chosen to be the face and the dubbing voice for the music and the spoken word.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't remember
And
the name of the person that was at the time.
Spencer Kennard or
Kennard,
Lloyd
Spencer.
Newell? Spencer Kennard?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I never saw it. What I did, I never saw. I don't know where it went. But
Yeah.
anyway, I never saw it. And then, so in a moment that we were free, I remember I had to talk to the leader of the church about this film. So I went to the office.
Was this the Herrera Possession film about the Italian man who joined the church reading the Book of Mormon or not? Was it a different movie?
Queste domande.
Ti ricordi qual era il film?
What was the movie about? Do you remember? Don't remember? Okay.
No, really, don't remember.
Okay, that's fine.
Well, it was really poor.
Oh, okay.
It was an Italian family from the south, speaking with a hard dialect.
Okay.
And showing something unbelievable. And we all rejected that. So I went, see if I can continue. I went to the office, and it was not the building we have now. It was small. So I saw people waiting in front of the door, so I stayed a little bit. And then I said, well, if it's possible, I want to talk to some leader. And then the person went, and then came out immediately, the secretary of President Kimball. Oh, Brother Larcher, we are waiting for you so much. Please, come in. And I was in front of the President Kimball. And in order to make the story short, he set me apart as a sealer of the Swiss temple.
Oh.
Wait, so you went there to give feedback about the movie saying we don't like the movie, but you were offered to be sealer
Yeah.
in the temple.
But I told what the local leaders in Italy asked me to say. I said, President, there is a film that is impossible to be seen in Italy. All the local leaders are against it. Okay. And then it changed to the other
Interesting.
office.
So did they do anything with the movie, or did they just leave it?
We have not seen it.
Oh,
so
okay.
very, very possible it was stopped.
Right.
Oh, so they listened.
Success.
They listened to you.
Yeah,
Oh, good. Okay.
I was strong enough.
I like it. Okay. How about Ezra Taft Benson? Do you remember Ezra Taft Benson
Of
coming
course,
to Italy?
Yeah.
Any memories of him?
But they are different. Well, when we were seated at the large round table on the church office building on the top floor, you know that, no? They are used to put together all the leaders from different countries, church leaders of different countries, and they share and we eat with them, we talk with them, we exchange opinions. Well, I've seen almost all of them. I talk almost all of them during those occasions.
So do you have any stories of conversations with general authorities that were memorable to you? That
Hai qualche storia da raccontare di una conversazione abbastanza importante che hai avuto con qualcuno degli apostoli o profeta?
Many.
well,
But
Pick one.
let's start with one. Okay. Maybe something very easy. We are in Florence. Elder Benson came, and we were taking dinner, and I said to the mission president, well, I will not partake because I am in a way of understanding that the church is calling me somehow. And it was a time when I was called counselor of mission president. So I was fasting, and President Benson, or Elder Benson, at that time I had the first baby. She was 2 years old. And he came out of the room kneeling down and playing with my baby. So that makes me see the church like something very, very important. And the humility of this person. Then President Monson. Okay, President Monson. Well, at that time I was the mission president. He came in Rome. Yeah, came in Rome, and after all the meetings with the missionaries, with the local leaders, he made a question. Which kind of priesthood do you have? I am an elder. Oh, it shouldn't be that way. How come? You must be at least a 70. Let me take you and set you apart as a 70. After 3 months, a letter came from the church office. Oh, all of those that have been called as an elder by 70, as a 70, by local apostle moving around the world, should go back to their priesthood. So I have been 70 and then elder, and I became high priest 2 or 3 years, 3 years after that.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. So when I was younger in the church, there's the Aaronic priesthood, the Melchizedek priesthood, and the Melchizedek priesthood had the offices of elder, high priest, and 70.
70, yeah.
And and at some point they abolished the office of 70.
Yeah.
So that would have been interesting for an apostle to voluntarily call you as a 70 and ordain you as a 70.
Exactly.
And then a short time later have the entire office taken away. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I said, well, I am an elder. I was an elder. I am an elder. What's the difference? I didn't find. Anyway, another story. Oh, adesso non mi ricordo il nome. Quando sei nata tu chi c'era?
Kimball.
Kimball, right. Sometime I forgot. President Kimball came visiting. At that time, I was a mission president in Sicily, Catania mission.
You were the
She
actual
was born.
president of the mission?
At that time, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And President Kimball came in August, in Sicily, in August.
Hot?
With
It's
a
like Arizona.
temperature. Anyway, we couldn't find because in August, all the hotels are busy. We couldn't find a good hotel, good for the president of the church. Finally, we found good enough. So we left the mission, the president of the church there, with 2 elders, my elders, staying in front of the door as bodyguard. And the elders the following day were saying to me, you know, I don't understand. They were laughing all the night. So I requested the president, what was in your room that you were laughing so much? The elders reported to me, there were mosquitoes all around. And so this is, you know, instead of complain, husband and wife, they were saying, hey, we were laughing because the mosquitoes. How simple this person was. I loved him a lot.
Yeah.
And then
then
he played the piano.
Yeah, then he came visiting our apartment and he went directly to the piano and started to play. You know, when I was young, I had a band.
He's related to you, right? Or you're related
Benson?
to him? No, Kimball.
Kimball, Benson is a
Okay.
cousin of mine, not
Okay.
Kimball. But Kimball played the piano and
Yeah, but he told me that when he was young, he had a band. Maybe.
Yes. Yes.
This is the word he told me.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I believe it.
Yeah.
and you liked him. He was a nice man.
Yes, I like him.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
I
these
like it.
stories seem quite positive
Yeah, it was.
that you're having.
I saw the humility, being so troubled by his throat, you know. And
Yeah, he developed
at that age,
throat cancer
Yes.
in the 70s.
at that age, with that problem,
Yeah.
coming from United States to Sicily,
Yeah.
that's make a difference. You don't know. If I start to talk to you about Sicily,
Yeah.
you will never
We're gonna
come
be
to
okay.
Italy.
What's wrong with Sicily?
Well, for once.
But she was born there.
Yes.
Oh,
So,
oh, okay. You were born when your parents were mission presidents in Sicily.
yeah.
You were born.
And
Correct.
after 15 days, we went back to Russia.
They were at the end of
mission.
their mission.
Okay, so I just want to make, maybe this is an obvious observation, but it feels like you were kind of thrust into leadership, like quite high leadership in the church as a young person.
Yeah, I was 30, 38, 39,
You were
40.
39 when you were done with your mission. Yes.
Yeah.
He was
quite
called
young.
at 36 to be a mission president.
Yeah,
And
that's not normal in the church.
Right.
Usually, missionary couples or mission presidents and their wives are in their 50s.
Because
Probably.
would it be worthwhile, just for the audience that may not be, affiliated with, to go through the levels? Because this idea of him being a mission president in his 30s, then an area
Authority.
Yeah, like, do you want to quickly just do, isn't it the sort of levels? I think it's interesting just from joining the church to the point where now you're in these positions. It's unique. It's a very unique part of your story that I think is not, it's not normal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the same.
Yeah.
I thought the same. But, when you are involved, you don't make too many questions. You do your work.
That's right.
That's it.
And it's clear you were foundational to Italy with regard to the church there.
Yeah. For example, when I came on the mission with the service of a mission president, I found that the majority of the word, call word, but there was group.
branches.
Anyway, the majority were led by missionary. So I said to
Branches.
myself, if the church has decided to call me as a mission president, why should I permit missionaries to serve as branch president? So I changed all of them. In a very short time, I found people to put in the position as branch president.
That's right.
So that was my first issue.
Got it.
This must be changed.
Okay, I have a question. Can we go back to your family for a minute? So, and you can definitely answer as well, but this idea of your family within the church, how would you describe, was your family all about church? Was church just sort of a part of what you did? Like, did it, in your everyday, would you say, with your family, were you reading scriptures? Was it more of, how would you describe family life?
Poi me lo che rispondi tu. No?
I came a lot later. When he started his mission, he already had 3 kids. And so the next sibling next to me is 7.5 years older. So I don't really know the dynamics of family home evening or reading scriptures before I was born. I'm assuming that they would read scriptures together and they would do family home evening together. But it makes sense to me that they were so involved, being so busy, that yes, family life was definitely church life.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When I came around, it was a little bit different. They were done with their mission, and having to wait 7.5 years to have another baby is a big gap. So they had to start all over, and maybe they were focusing more on me than the church. But I remember when I was 10, 12, doing family home evening, but frequently, regularly, trying to do study scriptures in the morning before we'd go to school. He also was working for the church after he came back from his mission. And so he'd leave like at 7:30 in the morning and come back at 7:30 at night, because he would have to travel for an hour by train to go to Milan, where the headquarters were, and an hour back. So
What was he doing for the church?
The first position was real estate. And then maintenance. And then...
Of buildings, of church buildings?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then at the end, I was manager of the office. I finished. I found myself a cancer, so I quit.
yeah, he had prostate cancer, and so he had to quit. But he had to travel a lot too. Like he would go to Budapest. He went to Romania.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You were in charge of the Eastern Europe area, correct?
I avoided to being called as area manager for the physical facility. I couldn't support. I had my family. So when I was going 3 days per week, and then traveling east, traveling north, first they called me, said, there is a good position in France. So I took my wife and we went to France and see. I said, come on. But I started to understand that sometime it's good to say no. So that my wife changed. I started to say no quite often.
Yeah. I can imagine that there was so much work to do as the church is growing and you're a resource.
Entering really, you start to do it. Why do? Now, my children say, well, Dad, you forgot us. You forgot us. We were not having a beautiful, nice family like before. You imposed us your rules. We didn't accept though, but we were scared to tell you we were not happy. But they're telling me now. They have 40, 50 years and 60. They are all but one out of the church. That's my fault. I recognize that. Too late. But somehow it was a blessing for them. Not being too much involved in the church.
And that's why I say I came at a different stage, because I never had that. I never had that imposition. I never had that we must work hard for the church to grow. I came at a phase in their life where they had already backed off a little bit.
I mean, just if I can process what I'm hearing, if you look at the status of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in 2026, it's a $300 billion multinational corporation that if it were listed amongst the Fortune 500, the most wealthy, powerful corporations in the world, it would be in the top 50. It's for sure the wealthiest church in the United States, which is saying a lot. And what I'm hearing is that for it to be able to grow its wealth and its power and its membership, it needed to, number one, do missionary work to many, many countries back in the 1940s and 50s and 60s and 70s. And then it needed to recruit local native members to bear the burden of growing the church in these local countries. And so people like you, Leopoldo, would feel a sense of meaning and purpose, and you would feel special that you were being chosen by the church to help it grow.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Exactly.
And while that probably felt good for you, or you wouldn't have done it, what I'm hearing you say is it came at the expense of your children and probably your wife feeling neglected, that you were so busy building the church that you were not spending time with them, but also forcing the church's rules and lifestyle on them. Is that what I'm hearing?
Exactly. An example. I think that Elder Benson came to Rome Mission, and he told me something very interesting, and I learned a lot. At a certain point, he made a question. President Larcher, when you finish the work? I said, well, I keep working till night. So many things to do. And he made a good statement. He said, no, if you can't close the day at 5, that is not good. You have to stop. You have to take care of your family. But I was so much involved, I couldn't understand at that time. So I went working, going out, training the missionaries, visiting local leaders. I couldn't stop at 5. But he told me that. Stop at 5.
Wow. So even though top leaders were sometimes encouraging you to limit your work for the church, you felt so much responsibility that you didn't feel able to.
It was my responsibility. I called the branch president. I should instruct them. I couldn't stop at 5.
Right.
So.
Oh, because you had to call them after hours to talk with them when they weren't working.
Because they were working.
Yeah.
This makes sense to me in a way where it may be that it was, I was going to say out of touch, but where, who was it that told you this? Was it Benson?
Ezra Taft Benson.
Yeah. And there are mixed messages, I think, in the church this way sometimes, with motherhood too, where it's like, we want to tell you to take care of yourselves, but when you're given the responsibility, like when you're all the things they're telling you have to do, you actually can't rest. You can't stop at 5.
Exactly.
And if he had known like what the work was like and when you had to actually contact people, maybe he would have seen why that was a challenge. But I'm really relating to that, to this idea of sometimes you get messages of like, oh, but we do, like the church, take care of yourself, of course, but also here are the 100 things that you have to do. And by the way, your children are depending on you to do these things. Their salvation, their place in heaven is dependent on you doing this work. Then, it doesn't make, you can't do it. You can't do that thing that they're asking around the rest because they're,
part of this, the history of the Italy developing the church in that part of the country, and we were at the beginning, as I said.
Right.
I had to replace the missionaries. They were called as branch presidents. So, to me, I took very strongly this position. I said, if the church trusts me, why shouldn't I trust my local leaders? So I called people. I called the mission branch president, and they one day had to make an interview of a lady to prepare to go to the temple, for the temple recommend, and didn't know what to say, what to do. So I sat on his side, and I suggested the question. It's unbelievable. I suggested to the branch president questions for the lady, and receiving the answer and make a suggestion because he couldn't understand. How could I do in a different way?
The church material was very limited too. We didn't have
the handbook of instructions.
Correct. We had the Book of Mormon, obviously, but I don't think we had a hymn book, for example. When was the first hymn book in Italian?
No, it was 6 or 8 songs.
Zio Loris translated it.
Yeah.
My uncle translated a few hymns to be sang in Italian because we didn't have any songs.
So you're having to come up with, that's a lot of work because you don't have actually the resources and the structure already. You're having to create all of that.
All on me. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't stop at 5.
Manuals did not exist.
Wow.
Yeah. Are you feeling a little bit emotional about that?
Mm.
Do you want to talk more about what you're feeling?
Stop for a while.
Okay. Emily,
Break.
do you want to share what I know you do you want to speak for your siblings about maybe what they would communicate in addition to what Leopoldo's already shared?
I think that my oldest sister is the one that suffered the most. In her words, at least that's what she told me, because she was basically being the guinea pig of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
She was growing while they were growing in the church, and being subjected to a lot of rules that she didn't understand and never really completely accepted, according to her. So she's the one that I think got it the worst. My other sister's still in the church, so she just feels great about all of it. And my brother, I just found out as in the last couple of years that he suffered as well. Not quite as much as my oldest sister. And he's writing a couple of books about his feelings and everything that went down. So maybe when that book comes out, we can read it and figure it out from him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a very different experience because I was so, I came so many years after all of them were grown up, basically. So I had a different experience in them.
Thank you for sharing that. How many stakes at the peak of the Mormon Church? I assume the Mormon Church is in decline in Italy now, like it is in most of the developed world. Do you either of you know the highest number of stakes that that were formed in Italy by the Mormon Church? And for those who don't know, a stake is about 10 Mormon congregations, or wards, as they're called. Do you know how many stakes were in Italy at the peak of the Mormon Church?
He should know very well because he had to account for all of them. So, good question.
Well, sometime I had to complain with the local leaders, with the general authorities, about stakes, because the desires to create stakes was very urgent. Sometime we had a stake with 5, 6
branches,
small branches. And in order to have a bishop there, in order to have all of this organization, but really, the people was overwhelmed of responsibility, not knowing where to go on and what to do. So we had 2 stakes in the south, 3 stakes in the middle, and 4 stakes in the north.
So around 10 or 11 stakes in the entire country.
Yeah.
And many of those stakes weren't really proper stakes. They were a few branches that had relatively few members attending.
I was involved in this process, and I said quite often to the leader of the church, it is, for example, I was called divide the mission. What it means, divide the mission? Okay, prepare the number, the total. Everything was put on some cloud. No numbers, no qualified people, but we had to divide the mission.
So what he's saying is that when he was called as a mission president, he was called for the whole entire southern Italy. And so he was stationed in Rome for 2 years, and the mission covered basically from Rome all the way to Sicily and Malta. Okay. And 2 years into the mission, they told him, you have to divide the mission. You have to split it because there was growth. And so he's telling you this is what he had to go through in order to separate the Rome and the Catania mission. So when the split did happen, he moved to the Catania mission, Sicily mission, and that's where I was born, and had to oversee the split and the numbers and calculating which branch to move and which stake to fit in one mission versus the other. But the problem is that the boundaries of each branch or each stake or district, because they didn't have enough numbers to make stakes, so they called them districts, were so spread out that the members couldn't even do home teaching or home, whatever it was called, I can't remember.
Or probably attend church because the chapels would have been so far away.
If they had a chapel, yes. Because most often than not, it was a rented place.
Right.
So he's telling all of this that to create a picture of it was really, really hard to make it happen. But on paper, you just move people here and there. Excuse me, people have to have the means to drive, to travel that far, to go visit so-and-so, or to just go to church.
Do you know what I'm noticing is it's almost like taking the Utah template of the church.
Correct.
And trying to just sort of transplant that over to Italy.
Exactly.
And you're the ones living with the reality of like, this is not working.
Correct.
What it's asking of members and the lived experience, it's not translating well.
Right.
Got it.
Wow. Okay. Let me ask you a question from a different angle. The average Mormon family in Italy, were they different than the average Italian family? Were they happier? Were they healthier? Were they better? Were they wealthier? Were they more educated? Did the church end up creating better families in Italy when you were there?
Good question. I would say we have to make a difference between first generation, second generation, and third generation. So the second generation is much better prepared. Young people like to go out Italy. They want to learn how the church is living here and there. So, and the third generation is even better, even for education, for example. I first generation was, come si dice, dumb, stupid. Ignorant. And without culture, it was not important. Second generation, much better.
So I think what he's trying to say is that there was a big push into education from the church. And so they would instruct parents of his first generation, as he calls it in the church, to push their kids to get more education, to get higher level of education. So that's what he's referring to. For me, I think overall, the church tends to find those that are already good people. And in a way, there wasn't that much difference for the life of those people that actually joined the church. Maybe they stopped drinking coffee because coffee is a major part of an Italian life. But
isn't smoking pretty common in Italy?
Yes, that
too. So maybe they would stop smoking?
Yes, or maybe the wine that, everybody has wine with their meals, even kids. But I don't think it's an addiction that much.
There, in Italy?
Yes, because it's so you can't drink until...
Right.
I mean, obviously they have wine with their pasta every day when they're 3 and 4 years old, so it's not as hard to combat. And again, those people that were searching for the church or searching for change, they were already trying to change their lives to begin with, and so giving up wine, no big deal, you know.
I have a question with regard to your wife. I'm curious about how, with the idea of roles within the church, you being kind of breadwinner and her kind of home with the kids. Was that true? Were those roles true for you in Italy? That's my first question.
Se ho capito bene, il ruolo della moglie, il ruolo del marito.
Nella tua famiglia, tua moglie ha seguito il ruolo della Chiesa?
Well, it is simple. My wife was so, well, this is why I selected her. It was simple. She was doing all I was waiting her to do. So her responsibility was to raise the children, to control the money, because that was very important. That time it was very important, and to help the kids to grow, because I was always out. Even at the end, I had to take the train early in the morning at 7 o'clock, going to work in Milan, 1 hour away, and then late at night back. And the kids, where are the kids? Sleeping out? I couldn't care about them. I was ordering my wife to take care of the children. And they did a good job. She did a good job.
Okay, so my question around that, my follow-up question is, when you think of her now, do you have memories of her, like, do you feel like that was easy for her, natural for her? How did she feel about you being gone, building the church at this time? Fully supportive? Sometimes did she say, this is really hard? Or what are your memories of, if you have any of her experience?
My wife never thought or never said, I'm tired. Never. She was a perfect person. This is why I selected her. And, but after, when all the kids were gone, she started to complain. And maybe this is her culture, I don't know. But she never said anything. She accepted the church. She accepted all my problems. She accepted to move twice. And now, when I think that, I moved twice. So the kids had to change school, companion. My son complained with me now. She's 50, so he has a right to complain with me. Something he couldn't say any word before.
Yeah.
Because of our culture.
Right.
The father is the father. Kids are the kids. But at the end, I would say 2 years before she passed away, she started to complain, and I saw
Okay. She started reading and learning from the internet about things, not just about the Mormon church, but in general about churches. And she started studying and digging and finding ugly in all the churches, basically. And she would share with him. And at one point, she told him, she woke up one day and she said, do not pay my part of tithing anymore. I don't want you to pay. You can pay whatever your part is, but do not pay my part.
How old were you when this happened, Emily?
Oh, this was 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Okay.
4 years ago. Yeah.
About 2 years before passing.
Okay.
She just woke up one day and told him that.
So she lost her Mormon faith
Before me and him.
Either of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And before she passed away?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is just a few years ago.
But not the last time, because she was studying Bible, Book of Mormon, Jehovah's Witnesses.
She was studying everything.
She studied a lot of books, and then it came at the end saying, all the study I've made convinced me that all the churches are there just to make money. They don't care too much about life. Probably she put together all the problems she had in her life with moving from one place to another, to moving the kids. And she, at the end, was full and had to explode in that way.
Right.
I want you to stop to pay my tithing.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's really interesting with regard to the impact of being, I'll just say, overburdened, like having such a busy life, having so much responsibility, it doesn't allow for, well, let's just say it's harder to reflect and to connect with yourself. Sounds like most of you were grown and gone, and she had a moment where there was space for her to read and reflect and get information. So that's that's an interesting overlay to the story.
Did you want to say something about your mom, Emily? Were you about to say something?
Yes, she lost her dad when she was 2, so she grew up with her brother and her mother. And her generation, particularly coming from the part of Italy that she came from, was very much, like he was saying, culturally, the father is the head of the family, and she did not have one. So in my opinion, when she met the church and the piece of the puzzle that was missing was put back in place, yes, the father is the head of the family. She fully embraced the 60s mentality where you don't ever show any problems. Your husband comes home from work and the house has to be meticulously clean. The kids need to be bathed and nobody screaming, everybody quiet. So she fully embraced that. And then when you transfer that going to church where everything is perfect, everybody's hair is done, everybody's sitting quietly, no kids allowed to even turn their necks. I still remember my mother telling me, we are talking after the meeting is over. You do not go to the bathroom while the meeting is going on. You take a bathroom break before or after. It was so meticulously controlled by her.
Right.
And like he was saying, she was in charge of all of us. So by the time she got to me, she had 3 kids on her back already. So she was a pro. So she was very much brought up as, do not show any signs of weakness. Do not show any signs of tiredness. Or if you're sick, suck it up. You can't show any signs of sickness. You have a handkerchief, put it away. Can't be seen. So my dad never had to worry about that because she had it all under control. And that can be very heavy.
Absolutely.
I was going to say, never saying I'm tired might not always be the best thing.
No.
That disconnect from your lived experience, from your body and what it needs. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, before, Emily, we maybe hear a bit about your story, I'll ask at least one more question. I was interviewing a man from Kenya he's a doctor. So he grew up in Kenya, joined the church in Kenya, in Africa, came to BYU, Idaho, BYU Provo, ended up going to the University of Utah, became a doctor, moved to like South Dakota or whatever, North Dakota to become a doctor, had a dream of a Mormon life, and then lost his faith and no longer attends. But I asked him, are you glad that the church is in Kenya now so that other people can have an experience like you? And he said, even though I don't believe the church is true, I'm glad the church is in Kenya because they're helping people live a better life, get an education, and live happy, healthy lives. I want to ask you, Leopoldo, do you feel glad that the Mormon church today is in Italy for the same reasons or not?
I would say yes. As I explained before, the second generation took advantage of this. So culturally, they were improved and had the desire to improve. So between my generation, the first generation, there is a gap incredible. And I believe that the church has given, but I am talking about generation in the church, not outside. Because outside, I don't know. But in the church, I saw the first generation really improve the quality or the desire to improve their ability. And they moved around, they went out, they studied. And I believe that the church has I would say the responsibility, but it's not a responsibility, that gave the imprint to move ahead, to do something better than before.
Interesting.
I have a little follow-up with regard, about your wife, mother. You were mentioning that culturally, where she came from, she was kind of taught to obey and kind of take on this mantle of, I've got it. We don't show, like if we show kind of that things are hard, it's a weakness. So we kind of, I'm great, never been better, perfection, right? I would say in America, this is just a generalization. Within the church, I feel like the higher the position in the church, particularly for the man, but I think it could be maybe for the woman too, the more pressure maybe to kind of be perfect, to show that you are living the true form of the gospel. And there's this pressure to have it look easy. It's easy for us, right? Because if it looks hard, then it's kind of like you're probably not doing something. It's probably in your character. I'm curious if you felt that, if you feel like that might have been an extra layer for your wife or your mom, that she might have not only had it culturally, but maybe also felt, I'm wondering if it translated to Italy, that aspect of the church.
Aiutami a capire meglio.
Vuole sapere se la mamma ha sentito questo dovere di essere perfetta, ancora di più vedendo il tuo progresso nella Chiesa.
No. My wife was a perfect woman. She didn't want to learn, to understand more about her life. She didn't care about my responsibility. She had the family. She had the kids to care about. Vuoi aggiungere qualcosa tu?
She would have never said anything to him, but she would communicate to me how hard it was. She did mention how it was very much social, cultural, and spiritual pressure.
I see.
To have all the kids be good and to always show up in a certain way and to be always looking put together. And
so it was felt, that aspect
Yes.
from what you experienced, it did kind of translate to your Italy
Yes.
experience. Just curious, because we're kind of comparing some of the differences there. Yeah.
Yep.
And I guess before we transition to kind of what caused your family to leave the church, I just want to know that the Mormon church, one thing the Mormon church does very well, I think, is to honor its pioneers. And whether that's the pioneers that joined the church in the early 1800s and then crossed the plains as pioneers to establish Utah and Idaho and Arizona, or the early families in various countries across the world who helped plant the stakes and the wards and the districts and the missions and grow the church
Correct.
for the benefit of the second and the third generation. The church seems to do a really good job of honoring those pioneers.
Yeah.
And I think the church leaders probably believe that once the Mormon church gets established in any country, the second, third, and fourth generations benefit. And so the church would honor you as a pioneer in Italy because of your efforts and your wife's efforts and your family's collective sacrifice.
Yeah.
Other future generations of Italian Mormons benefited from the real sacrifices of you and your wife and your family.
I don't know, but probably yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I am
you
not
do
the
know.
I am not in position to say.
Everywhere you go in Italy to visit any branch or whatever, oh, Brother Larcher. He's like a
Very much
superstar.
loved.
Yes.
Very
So
loved.
you are honored in Italy.
Southern
across
Italy
the country.
specifically. Yes.
Of course.
Southern Italy specifically, but in
Even
all
in
Italy
the
as well.
northern part.
Yes.
And what was your wife's name? Do you feel comfortable saying it, or would you rather not?
Come si chiamava tua moglie?
We're honoring you, and it feels like it's a partnership as well, but I only want to do it if you're comfortable.
Vuole dare onore anche a tua moglie se ti senti
Sì.
di condividere il nome.
Her name was Maria. So even the name
It's simple.
said so much.
Mm.
Now, she was aware that I was glorious.
Proud.
I liked to be the first, and that's it, no? And she didn't complain because she was the wife of the number one. No, I don't know if this explain the concept.
He was very proud, and she knew that he was proud, but she didn't care because, in a way, she was also proud to be the wife of the number one in Italy. So it kind of, you prideful people.
Okay. Well, in that sense, I'm glad you're honored. I'm glad you and your family and your wife are honored in Italy for the sacrifices you made for the Mormon Italian families that came after you. That's special.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nothing to be taken from the people of Valle d'Aosta, the Valdese group that
people,
joined the church before World War I, even
Sure.
from Lorenzo Snow when he came and did his little thing anyway.
Right, right.
They all went to Utah, so nothing was left for us. We had to start from scratch.
Got it. Okay. Well, Emily, let's transition a bit to your story. And Leopoldo, you can speak up whenever. What do you want to say about your Mormon upbringing, both in Italy and then your journey here to the United States?
Well, as I was saying, I was born at the end of my parents' mission in Sicily.
What year?
1978,
Okay.
June. And my name is kind of special because my parents went to the assistants and asked for a list of names, American names, because they wanted to remember their mission through me. They called me their mission gift. And so they gave them this list, and my parents chose Emily and Susan as a middle name.
Okay.
So I'm the only one in my family with the weird American name, and everybody else has Italian names.
Okay.
Sorry.
Emily's not a common name in Italy for a woman.
It didn't used to be. Now there's,
Emilia.
I've met quite several Emilys
Now.
Since
Yeah.
then,
Yeah, now.
recent years. But
And what was it like for you growing up Mormon in Italy?
I was different for real. It was, I was always the only Mormon kid in any school I went to up until high school, where there were 2 of us, over 2,000 kids. But I remember going to church, feeling like it was an extension of my family and feeling jealous of newcomers. I did not like when people were joining the church because who are these people intruding in my family? But I also remember having a lot of missionaries coming for Christmas, Easter, any day really. We used to have up to 8 missionaries, so 4 couples at the time. I remember our branch went from being a small little branch to a ward, and then splitting the ward into 2 branches, and then potentially 2 wards, back to a one-word ward. However, when I say ward, as we were talking about numbers, a ward here in Utah or Arizona would be 300-400 people. In Italy, in my hometown, it would be maybe 60 people, 80 when it was like a Christmas or Easter. My brother actually became a bishop when we became a ward. But so yeah, it was definitely different than any Utah, Arizona, Idaho branches or wards. Reading scriptures was part of our morning routine. Family meetings, we tried to do them as much as possible. Always busy with callings, never saying rejecting a calling. And seminary was not understood by me in any way, shape, or form. I did not like it. We would have these pamphlets that were translated from English, and we'd have to fill them up. I never read the scriptures before. I would just read the passages that were highlighted. I did not read back to back or the entire Book of Mormon until my mission, basically. So scriptures were some part of our family life, but not we have to read the scriptures or what does the scripture mean? It was just you read, done, put it away. I do remember talking in school once about the Mormon Church just because it was me and Jehovah's Witness kid in the class, and so everybody else was Catholic. They were curious. Let's have them talk. I don't remember what I said. It was probably nothing very impressive because I didn't understand very much what I was living. I felt different, mostly because my family was huge for an Italian family. All of my schoolmates had maybe 1 sibling. I had 3. Most of them were the only child. So in that sense, I felt different. But other than the fact that I wasn't drinking, smoking, or tea or coffee, whatever, assumption, we were just kids growing up. And that was it.
What was it like to be Italian? Almost everyone's Catholic, and you're a member of an American church that maybe did people view it as a cult in Italy?
No.
They just didn't know anything about it at all.
Correct.
Okay.
They didn't even know that it was American.
Okay.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
It was just weird. But just like the Jehovah's Witnesses, just weird, different.
Did you feel a connection to the United States that maybe your peers didn't feel?
I wouldn't say a connection, but there were these American missionaries that would show up. And they were cool. They were fun. They were handsome. They were smart.
Tall,
of course.
fair.
Handsome. But no, a connection with America, not so much. Just the fact that we had these cool kids that would be part of our religion.
Okay. And like, was like graduating from high school and going to BYU, was that a thing?
No. Not at my time. The next generation after me, yes, absolutely became the thing.
Okay.
It became the thing.
When you were a teen, what did you want for yourself? Like, did you want to have a job, or were you very much
Career, do you mean?
Yeah, a career. Like, what were your dreams for yourself as a teen?
They were very much influenced by the church, and it was to get married and have a family.
Okay, yeah.
Absolutely not having a job. Not because I didn't want it. At one point, I did want something, but because the church said you're going to influence your children, you're going to have to be at home.
Right.
And my dad always said, you do not work. Your first job is to raise your kids.
It was an
and your
agreement
family.
between mother and husband.
Right. No, I'm talking about me.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. And was that different than your peers with where you were living, or was that also, I'm curious if in that way you were different or not really different, what you wanted for
I
yourself?
was different. Out of all of my schoolmates, 3 got married out of 23. Well, schoolmates in Italy is a little different. You just stay with the same group of people for 5 years.
Oh, how about that?
And so I had 30 kids, basically, as schoolmates that we stayed together for 5 years.
So you get to know them quite well.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And only 3 got married, so including me.
When you say got married, ever?
Had
or-
families, yes.
Oh, ever?
Yes, ever.
To date?
To date. Most of them are in a relationship, but not married,
necessarily.
and definitely not
So
kids.
very different.
Very,
Yeah.
very.
Culturally
Why aren't
very
Italians
different.
getting married and having kids?
Because it's too expensive.
Yeah.
They prefer to have dogs and cats.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And to travel, because traveling became a thing after my generation. And so everybody just decided to explore the world, and you don't get to do that when you have kids and family and jobs. And
Right. Okay, another question as a teen. So did you experience the Young Women's Program?
I did, very differently than anywhere in Utah, Idaho, and Arizona. I was one of 3 young women at first, and then 2 graduated. So it was their last year, and it was my first year. And then a young woman joined the church. So it was her and I, same age for the rest, like the last 3 years. Just the 2 of us. Very boring.
Got it.
Very, very, very boring.
Very focused.
Very
on you.
focused. The lessons were so over our heads all the time. And we got the medallions, the whatever program. I don't know how I got the medallion, because I don't remember doing anything, but they gave it to us anyway. It was like, here's your star. So very, very laid back, but they tried, they tried to do what they could with what they had. Again, the material was not there. I mean, probably not as much knowledge and information that, leaders have here in Utah, Arizona, and Idaho.
That's right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Did you feel emotionally connected to God or Jesus or the Book of Mormon or the prophet, I don't know, Gordon B. Hinckley, or the prophet Joseph Smith? As a teenager, did you feel a connection to any of those things?
Nope.
No.
Yeah.
Why not?
I don't know. It was never imprinted on me as to you have to have a testimony. That all came when I decided to go on a mission, and when I went to BYU first, and I saw all the other kids at BYU.
What year did you go to BYU?
So I kind of messed up because I didn't speak English. So I came to Utah to BYU, to the English Language Center for a summer, for 6 weeks. And I just learned English. And then I went back home and decided to try BYU. That was 1999.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Okay.
And then I did a semester at BYU, and I got to see all the returned missionaries, sister missionaries that were in my apartment. And I got to really dive into family home evening, even though it was just the group of students. It was there where I really got fired up in the church and gained my testimony and decided to just, yes, I'm going to be a missionary. I'm going to spread the word. And
I can't imagine attending university not speaking the language of the university. Like, kids struggle in college enough. How in the world did you survive with only 4 months of English, you know?
I don't know. Well, the first 6 weeks when I was learning English, I remember crying just about every day. It was really hard, but it was over the summer, and I had a few friends that were from Italy as well, so we just coasted a little bit.
Yeah.
And then because of his mission and service, there was this family nearby living in Provo that spoke Italian, and every once in a while they would, have me over for dinner, and it was nice to just have some sort of family support, even though I was thrown in the middle of Utah culture.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
I wanted to just now loop back to your relationship with your dad, because you were kind of talking in a way for your siblings about what they might feel. What was your experience of your dad as, particularly, let's say, in kind of teen years? Let's say teen years. Was he around more? Did you feel like it didn't sound like it was particularly rigid in your home, but what was your experience, particularly with your dad's travel? And
so actually I liked it when he was traveling, when he would come to the States and travel around, because he would bring me back marshmallows. That's the one thing that I do like.
You loved marshmallows.
I did. But in my teen years, he still was gone most of the day to go to Milan. So he was gone from like 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. The time that we would spend together was in the summer, and we would go to the beach for like 2 or 3 weeks. And one summer particularly, he had to visit chapels along the whole country, basically. So we spent, I think it was 3 months. It must have been, it was the whole summer, basically. And we stopped at every church building that he overseed, which were all of them, that he had scheduled maintenance or just to be able to have eyes on the buildings. And we just did the whole coast and camped all over Italy. It was fun.
So that was memorable.
Yes.
That particular time.
And that one young woman that was the only one with me came along with us. So I had a friend, because my siblings were all married at that time. So
yeah,
Yep.
That's right. In your home, was it a very strict home? Did you experience it as like having a lot of rules?
yes. Basically, my mother was very strict. So I did have a lot of rules, and I did have restrictions, I guess, which is fine. Compared to my peers, it felt a little heavy. They didn't have a curfew that I had. Obviously, they could go and party. I didn't really want to go party, but I wasn't really allowed to. I couldn't wear what I wanted to wear. So yeah, basic rules of keeping the kids in line. But I wasn't a wild one anyway, so.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
So being a BYU made you want to serve a mission?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Let's talk about really quick your mission call and your mission service.
Yes. So I had a roommate that worked at the MTC in the cafeteria, I believe. And she also put her papers in. Her name was Emily too. And she was telling me, oh, you are going to receive your mission call on this day, because that's when they process the papers. And she received her mission call the day before. And she was like, this is weird. So that means everything is messed up. So I wasn't waiting for a mission call for another week. And I got it then the very next day to the same mission that she was going to.
Which was?
The New York Rochester mission.
Oh.
The historical sites. Yes. And we were companions in the MTC and in the field.
Wow.
How bizarre is that? Yes. So.
How'd you like your mission?
I loved it. It was, obviously that's where it all started. So I was like,
oh so
yay.
Palmyra was part of your mission?
Yes. Yes.
Did you work in a visitor center there?
I was a visitor center sister, yes.
For English and Italian-speaking visitors?
Nobody came from Italy, but yes, I would have been able to do both.
You were well equipped for that.
I was,
that situation.
Okay. Okay, so you loved your mission. And
Yes.
when I talked about developing a relationship with God and Jesus and Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon and the prophet Gordon B. Hinckley, did that happen on your mission?
Absolutely. Actually, right before I decided to go, I started studying and preparing. And then when I got my mission call, I memorized Standard of Truth and all the other things that they wanted us to memorize, and working really hard, because that back then is when we were still memorizing the discussions. So I remember trying to memorize my first discussion by the time I was in the field on the MTC, but then they threw all these scripts to memorize for all the historical sites. I'm like, oh, no, but I gotta. So I had to memorize a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And do you feel like serving a mission in New York really maybe solidified a connection between you and the prophet Joseph Smith?
Yes, I had no idea about anything that happened. I knew that he was the founder of the church, but I did not know any of the history behind it or that came from it. I just knew that he was the founder of the church and he saw God and Jesus Christ, and that was it.
Okay. Any big things happen on your mission that are worth mentioning, or just overall that it was a great experience?
The very first day, our mission president took us to the Sacred Grove. He took all of us young new missionaries and said, very dramatically, now, this is where it all started. We don't know exactly where, but in these woods, this is where it happened.
Where Joseph Smith claimed to have seen God and Jesus.
Correct. And even though you weren't born yet, we were all up in heaven cheering for him to push through the darkness and to receive what he did receive. And we were so excited. Now, today's the day that you are here and you get to share with everybody that experience. And I was pumped up. I was like, oh, yes, I'm going to shout it, I'm going to be declaring it. This is where it happened. You guys that live near here are the luckiest ones. This is where the spirit was the strongest. And so I was really dipped in the spirit.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So anything else from your mission, or just, by the time you end, you were in it to win it?
Yes. I was digging through everything that I could dig in to memorize all the things that I could, to give the best tours and to just, and I couldn't wait to go and be out because tours are one thing, the people are coming to you, but I wanted to be out there and really go and talk to people about, the gospel. And I remember just being upset that I couldn't be out there to knock on doors and just trying to get members to come with us, because once we leave, they need to have the investigators need to have someone to stay close to. They can't just get close to the missionaries, because then we're gone, right? But if they become close to the members, then they have some sort of a friendship to stay with, in the church. So yes, I really wanted to just go out and get them.
Did any of your other siblings serve missions?
My brother, I served a mini mission too, but my brother served a mini mission. Their big thing in Italy, they were teenagers, like 17, 18-year-olds would go for the summer or for a few months in the summer.
Oh.
And then went to
University?
Soldier, no? È stato
Military?
chiamato al servizio militare e dopo...
So my brother served a mini mission, and then he said that he had to go do military service, which was mandatory back then. It's not.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you were the only of your siblings to serve a full-time mission?
Correct.
Yeah.
And Leopoldo, how did you feel that Emily served a full-time mission?
I shouldn't say that, but she's the best we have.
Yeah, you shouldn't say that. For sure. But you were proud of her?
Yes.
Serving a mission?
I am proud of all my sons and daughter. But for the mission, I was very happy. I loved what she did in her life, including
Who she married?
including Craig.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. So you were making your parents proud and you were having a great experience. Okay.
Is there anything that stood out? I mean, this is also your experience with America.
Mm-hmm.
Did anything stand out with regard to like BYU or your experience of America that you remember where it was just sort of notable or, oh, this is
Or the food.
interesting or, oh, this is anything that made an impact?
Yes. There isn't really a culture in Italy. There wasn't. Maybe there is now. Of dorm living or living in with a group of girls. That was different. That was very different. And the food, yes, that's Italian food. A little bit hard. My first cultural
Wait,
shock.
are you saying, let's slow down. Are you saying Italian food's better than American food?
Did I say that?
Did you imply that?
Read the fine print. A little bit. So my first cultural shock was actually tomato soup, okay? I about died. It was on a mission, and somebody had offered us tomato soup, and I think it was crackers. And I think I became the same color of the soup. So it was really, really traumatizing. But
Yep.
I managed somehow.
Wow, I've never heard of tomato soup being characterized as a problem. Have you?
Well, I can imagine just
Sure.
the processed version compared, like how sweet and pure versus.
Or
I mean, I
bland,
can
I don't
imagine.
know.
I am challenging you today to go home, open a bottle of ketchup, and try and down it as is, because that's what I felt.
Yeah.
Okay, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I was raised on it, so I love like grilled cheese sandwiches and tomato soup, but
Oh, that's what it was. Grilled cheese sandwiches, not crackers.
Because then you dip it
Yes,
in the.
yes.
I think that's still good stuff. I don't know. But for you, it felt weird. Okay.
I haven't had it since.
All right. So the food was sometimes weird, not as good.
Yes.
Yeah.
But on the mission, it was really humbling to see how the members were so kind and so even non-members, to be honest. And like they didn't have much and they would just share with us what they had. And they didn't have to, but you know how this piece of paper goes around in Relief Society and sign up to feed the missionaries. And here's this poor sister that already doesn't have a whole lot of money and she's single and older or whatever. And she's, trying her best to put together a meal for us. And it was really humbling to be sitting with those people and just partake of the little that they had.
Yeah.
Were you all able to baptize some people, bring them into the church? And were you able to teach any Italian families
Okay.
or people? Either one.
First question is, was I able to baptize? No, because I didn't have the priesthood.
Or facilitate baptism.
We did teach a bunch of people, individuals and families. I did not see anybody that I started teaching get baptized. I did pick up a family that was baptized after I started teaching, but not very many. Yes.
Perché non parli della chiesa che cresce adesso in Italia, che sono tutti stranieri?
Sì, dopo. Adesso sto ancora parlando della mia missione.
Yeah, okay.
He wants to talk about something in the future. So
Oh,
we
okay.
will.
Okay.
I did teach an Italian kid. He was an exchange student. He was in high school and was not interested at all. But the family that he was staying with was Mormon. And so they were like, oh, here's an Italian sister. Why don't you talk to her? And not interested at all. And I think I taught him a third of the first discussion. And he was like, yeah, no. So that didn't go very well. But
one of the things I hear many ex-Mormons express is they really wish they could find a way to give their children, their adult children, an equivalent to a Mormon mission experience. Do you look back fondly that your Mormon mission experience was enriching to your life, whether it's living in a foreign country or learning another language or just having that adventure of all the things you had to do to be a Mormon missionary? Do you think of that as overall enriching your life?
I believe it was. I believe it was very stretchy, very challenging. And I do believe that it is a good experience for now teenagers because they lowered the age. But you can experience that in other ways as well. Some join the armies. I don't know that that's necessarily comparable. Some go on missions in South Africa or Asia, or they go teach English to other countries. I feel that there are other ways to have the same kind of experience. And I think I'd prefer those other experiences over the Mormon mission because you're so focused on what you're feeling, trying to understand what the other people you're talking to are feeling versus what am I learning? How am I growing? How am I helping the people in front of me growing in life, not just spiritually? Because I think that there's such a focus and I don't want to say it's like salespeople, but it feels like you're a salesperson when you're on a mission, trying to kind of convince people that what you have is better than what they have. Because at the time, I thought I had something better and more than what they had. And it felt good to try and share it with them. So.
Did you ever hear those teachings about the Catholic Church being the great and abominable
Oh my goodness.
church?
At BYU, yes. I remember reading the Book of Mormon and all of a sudden opening up the part where it says, you know, all the red velvets and all the luxury. Fine apparel, yes, that one. And yes, of course it's the Catholic Church. And of course it was told in my apartment and stuff with my roommates. And they would ask me, so how is it the Catholic Church in Italy? I'm like, I don't know. I've never been I've been to a church, but I don't go to mass or anything. But in my mind, my mind just blew up when I put the two and two together. I was like, whoa, yeah, they are the devil, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you served a year and a half from what, age 21 or?
I turned 22 at the MTC, so I was an old geese.
So you were 23 and a half when you finished your mission? Okay.
Yes.
And that was around what year?
2000 to 2001. I came back right after 9/11.
Oh.
I was in New York.
So you were in New York during 9/11?
Yes.
Okay.
I understood nothing because we had access to nothing.
You couldn't watch the news or read the newspaper.
No.
Yeah.
So I was at the Grandin building when it happened in Palmyra. The Grandin building is where the first copies of the Book of Mormon were printed.
The printing press.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the senior couple that was there with us were frantic. They were like listening to the radio in their car and they were just like spewing out words that I didn't understand. Attack, Twin Towers. I'd been on the Twin Towers, but I didn't remember what they were. And terrorism, like, I don't know. I got nothing. Then the rest of the day we were tracting because we didn't know any better. And we would see images on the people's TVs and
smoking buildings.
And still not understanding anything. I didn't even know where those buildings were. My companion, she knew exactly what they were, and she tried to tell me, but she was more concerned about what was going on. So she was trying to get information from TVs and people. And I found out much later what was going down. Okay. So,
as a Mormon missionary in Palmyra area, you would have been at least sometimes in charge of teaching others about early Mormon church history. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Can we do a little micro quiz really quick? Because I'm curious what you were and weren't taught about early Mormon church history.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
So were you taught up through the time you served your mission that Joseph Smith had been a treasure digger, searching for buried treasure illegally with a peepstone and a hat kind of thing. Were you ever taught that?
I was not taught that.
No?
But I did hear it from the locals.
Okay. And what did you think about that when you heard it from the locals?
Misinformation.
That it was lies?
They didn't know. Yeah, they didn't know any better. It was the anti-stuff that they had heard that was coming out of their mouths.
And what had you been taught about how Joseph Smith translated the Book of Mormon?
That he received inspiration and that he had the plates in front of him and a sheet that would divide the person that was actually being the scribe from him, because they were not allowed to see the plates, whoever that was, whether it was Emma or Oliver, and that he would just read and translate word for word.
Using what?
It was using the Urim and Thummim, which were spectacles.
And obviously now we know that he put a stone, the same peepstone he used for treasure digging, he would put that stone in his hat. The plates weren't anywhere in the room. So you weren't taught an accurate, you weren't even aware of the accurate narrative about how he actually translated. Is that right?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So you were sort of led to teach a false narrative about that.
Yes.
What about the fact that Joseph's first vision story, that there were multiple versions of it and that his story changed significantly over time? Were you ever taught about that as you were teaching the first vision story in Palmyra?
Nope.
No? You hadn't heard about that? Or
No, not at all.
Okay.
My husband is the one to blame for that.
What? Oh, for learning about that.
For
stuff.
learning about
Okay.
that.
I was questioned by a general authority about this. Yeah. It was, no, non era autorità generale, era un 70, come si chiama il francese?
A French brother, he was a 70 at the time.
Yeah.
Non era Cosè, vero?
No, questo era
no.
dopo.
Dopo,
Questo è dopo. No, è prima.
A 70 general authority.
Came to me and said, President Larcher, what do you think about if someone comes to you and says, there are 3 ways or 3 stories about the first vision? I was out. My mind was not even thinking about this. I said, who cares? That, for me, it was flying over my head.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite simple.
So you didn't ask any details about
No.
the 3 very different versions.
Simply he mentioned this. I said, but I don't even know that there are 3 ways, 3
Versions.
versions.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Mm-hmm.
And then, were you ever taught that Joseph Smith ultimately became a polygamist and that he had over 30 wives and that sort of thing as you were instructed on what to teach people learning about Joseph Smith?
Nope.
No.
And did you know that yourself?
Nope.
So you're teaching investigators about the life of Joseph Smith, and you didn't even know that he had more than one wife,
Correct.
let alone 30 or more. Okay. And this is in the early 2000s.
Yes.
Okay.
Did these things come up in the discussions? Like, did people that you were teaching ever bring these things up?
We had, I think it was a rule, maybe it was a non-written down rule in the mission, that when people started to fight back with these type of arguments, we'd just leave. And at the time, it felt a good thing to do. You don't want to cause problems. You don't want to argue with people. It felt safe. And so that's what we would do. We just back off.
Right. Spirit of contention, right?
Yeah, correct.
But the downside of that is you didn't learn
Anything.
anything. Yeah.
But I wasn't out there to learn. I was out there to teach.
Yeah.
That's right. Yep.
Leopoldo liked that. He thought that was funny.
Oh, then he got it all when I got back.
Okay. So, it's sometimes some of us have felt gaslit by modern Mormon apologists on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube who want to say now in 2024, 25, 26, that the church has not, deceived its members about its history or withheld history from its members. And so I just like to check in with people to know, do you feel now looking back that you were at best ill-informed, but at worst deceived by
Absolutely.
the church?
Yeah.
That you were encouraged to teach a false narrative
Yes.
to others?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's easy for people that are still fighting for the church to say, well, they never hid anything. How is it hidden when they're telling me what to say for them?
Mm-hmm. Also, when it's your second language and you're there from a foreign country, just trying to learn the language and adjust to mission life away from your family. Like, how are you going to grab a copy of Fawn Brody's No Man Knows My History?
Correct.
And read it,
There were some senior missionaries that were digging into some books. And
against the rules.
Against the rules, of course.
Yeah.
And we would call them the crazy couples, or they're the seniles. They're just, we just push them away. Like don't talk to them, dismissing them.
Yeah.
Because the mission rules, there are only like a couple books you're allowed to read. Is that
Miracle
right?
of Forgiveness, 4, I think it was. Miracle of Forgiveness, Jesus the Christ.
Articles of Faith.
Articles of Faith. And there was another one.
And Marvelous Work and a Wonder.
There you go, that one.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you finish your mission. Did you go back to BYU?
I did. I went back home first because I had to change my visa status from missionary to student. And I finished BYU, got married, had babies, married in the temple.
Were you married in the temple?
Yes.
Which temple?
We were married in the Manti temple.
Okay.
And I was a sealer.
So you were a temple sealer.
Yeah, I requested the authorization to the president. He gave me.
That's special.
How many of your children were married in the temple, were sealed in the temple?
All of them. Tutti I tuoi figli si sono sposati nel tempo.
Sì, quando... all of them.
He sealed all of them, yes.
Okay.
1 in Frankfurt, 2 in Switzerland, and me in Manti.
Yeah. So you've been a temple sealer, not a temple president though, right?
No.
Temple sealer, area authority, mission president. Were you a bishop? Were you
Never.
a bishop? Okay. Okay.
I jumped
I was going to say, you skipped
jumped.
over that.
You jumped over it. Okay. Got it. All right. So you found your eternal companion at BYU or after?
Yes, it was at BYU. I was the native Italian speaker at the so-called FLISR, the Foreign Language Student Housing or Residence, just across the MTC, between the MTC and the temple, that little...
I think they were called international houses.
Yeah.
If you wanted to be with French speakers or Spanish speakers or Italian speakers, you'd live in the Italian house.
Correct.
So you lived there?
I was the one native speaker of the Italian house for the girls.
Okay.
And I had 5 roommates that wanted to learn Italian, and I would help them with their homework and stuff like that. And we'd have meals together speaking Italian and prepping it.
It's so fun.
Together. It was really fun.
Did they have that when we went?
Yeah.
I would have loved that.
Yeah.
I had no idea that existed.
So I was the native in the Italian house, and I had a roommate that was from Portugal studying Italian, but she was also a BYU professor, happened to be my husband's professor. And so he would come and talk to her about homework or just to hang out to practice his Portuguese because he started speaking Spanish and Portuguese in Utah. And then he saw me and the rest is history.
Did you work in the MTC teaching Italian as well?
Yes, I did for about 4 years.
Future Mormon missionaries going to Italy or elsewhere?
Correct.
Any other countries where Italian is the primary language?
Not
any
really.
African country or anything?
No, Libya used to be an Italian territory, but it was
There are many that
Decolonized.
speak Italian
Decolonized,
there,
yeah.
but I don't.
There's a lot of Italians in the world, but not not a specific other country that speaks Italian.
What was that like teaching in the MTC? That's pretty prestigious.
It was. I went from the BYU Cougar Eat cafeteria to the MTC, so I was like, oh,
better food,
walking up the ladder.
Better food,
better food. I don't know. We'll talk about food. Sour note.
Yeah.
Yes, an employee at the Cougar Eat to being an employee at the
Got
MTC.
it. Yes.
Okay. At the end, we got to get your recommendations for Italian restaurants.
Come to my house.
Okay. Come to your house?
Yes.
Okay.
You're invited. It's official.
All right. Okay. So overall, did you feel treated well at BYU as an Italian international student?
Yes, very much.
Okay.
I had crazy roommates, good roommates, and wild roommates all together. Dating was a little bit weird. It's kind of different in Italy. But overall, a really nice and good experience. Yep.
What'd you study?
Do we have to talk about it?
No? You can
I
say
studied
pass.
visual arts. I know I'm Italian and I study art in Utah. Great.
You're saying that's sort of cliche?
Yeah, no, it's like, why did you come to Utah to study what everybody studies in Italy? So,
because you love art, maybe?
Yeah.
well, I do, but I wanted to do interior design. But when I got to BYU, they were moving the whole program to BYU, Idaho. And at the time it was Rexburg. So I did not want to go up there. And I'm like, what's next? I'll just fold into visual arts. And so I did.
Okay. All right. So you get married in the Manti Temple to
Yes.
an American husband.
Yes.
And where did y'all end up living, in what states or whatever?
First 6 months we were in Florida because that's where he's from. And then we came back to BYU because he needed to finish BYU.
Okay. And then where did you end up settling?
And now we're in Arizona. We've been there for the last 12 years, a little over 12 years.
And how many kids?
4.
Okay, 4. And how, prior to you or your husband or your mom or your dad having kind of a Mormon faith crisis, how did you enjoy your adult married Mormon experience?
I loved it. It was...
in the United States, I should say.
Yes. In fact, it was the peak of my experience because growing up, it was always, that's what we were striving for as members of the church, to have the perfect family, to have,
Right.
the a lot of kids and to all be strong in the faith. And even though I didn't really understand a lot about the faith, I knew that was the vision, the eventual vision, that you stay at home with the kids, you grow your family. And so being at BYU, growing your family while you're surrounded by all these Mormons, it was heaven altogether. It was like, we've done it. That's what we've been called to do.
And sometimes people describe Arizona as like, I don't know, Utah South, like Gilbert, Chandler, Tempe, Mesa, even certain parts of northern Arizona are predominantly Mormon. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
Like you're living also the American version of the gospel and the church. So
Yes.
you're having all the resources, all the supports.
Yes.
You're
Big words, big
experiencing
stakes.
it the way it was sort of created as
Yes.
opposed to, yeah.
I did one year we had my nephew as an exchange student. He lived with us for that year. He was senior, I believe.
He's an Italian nephew?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. All my siblings and everybody's still in Italy.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that's in the States. So he came to spend a year with us and to do an exchange student year in Provo. And he was the one that first kind of put a little crack in my Utah Mormon life.
What happened?
Because he would come home and tell us how he's the bishop's son and he's drinking, or she's the bishop's daughter or whatever, and she's doing all these promiscuous things. And I'm like, wait, what? Because in my opinion, those were the kids that would get in trouble at BYU. So you don't do that stuff. Or you're not the bishop's son or daughter when you do that stuff. You don't have a whole lot of support in your family, or you don't have a strong testimony. But he was telling us about all these kids that were not good kids, and they were members of the church. And so in my mind, there was a little shift of, oh, so it's not an automatic thing that when you're a Mormon, you're a good person. Mm-hmm. That was the first crack. Mm. And then I started seeing little things in our ward where I had 4 kids, and I think it was recognized for one. You know how the first time you come back from the hospital and you have your baby, they introduce the baby and they're like, how's the mom? And mom is doing great and whatever. I felt left out. I don't know if it was because I was Italian and they wouldn't recognize me or whatever. It just felt a little weird that I was not introduced as the other moms, kind of a thing, to the congregations. And then I felt really bad when I was asked to provide a meal for a new mom when I was myself a new mom and nobody had given me a meal. That was terrible. I know it's silly, but in all of my pregnancies and all of my baby raising years, I was asked to give and produce meals for families that had new babies, but I was never given a meal. And really? I don't care. I'm not complaining. It's just, it felt really out of place and weird.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense to me. Just because having been in Relief Society, it's a big deal. It's a big deal of what it exists for and the culture of Relief Society.
Yeah, I didn't have a family. My husband's family was in Florida, mine's in Italy. And I'd have to produce a meal for a mother whose mom was there visiting, helping. And I was like, that's so weird. My parents would come every time I'd have a baby, by the way. I would make sure that they were there to help me. But just the idea that I had to, and I never received, it was a little weird.
It'd be interesting to try and get to the bottom of that, because being raised Mormon, living Mormon for most of my adult life, I would have never heard like, don't bring the casserole to the Italian woman, or don't bring the casserole to the European, I would have never heard anything that would have prompted that sort of discrimination.
It is intimidating being Italian with good Italian food, right?
It's like,
but where is this?
This is in Provo.
I mean,
can you bring noodleroni to an Italian?
I'm a chef.
But I do think that's interesting.
Yeah.
Would you say, did you feel othered in any other way, or was it really just around meals after you had given birth?
I don't know that my being a little introvert had any influence on the fact that I didn't have friends at all. But I never really, I was one of them, meaning I was doing the same things that they were doing, having babies and going to church.
Yeah.
But I never really connected with anybody, and I never bonded a friendship with anybody.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting you say that, John, because I do feel like having, I'll just say certain experiences in the church as a woman, I do think there's othering that goes on. There are sort of elect women in a ward, and then sort of people that view themselves as very much on the outside of that. And it does impact experience greatly. So I am not surprised in a way with what you have experienced in that way. Yeah, it's impactful.
Then when we moved to Arizona, there was definitely, in my mind, the mentality of, oh, you Arizona people don't know what it is to be a true Utah member of the church. In my mind, I was the one putting them down. Right. In my mind. I had never said anything to anybody, but I was superior because I came from the Holy Land.
Interesting. Yeah.
So and going back home in Italy, y'all don't know anything. I'm all up in heaven. Oh, yeah. Yep.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
Yep.
So you and your husband raised 4 kids in the church, ending for over a decade in Arizona, which is where you are now.
Correct.
Okay. But overall, even though you sometimes felt lonely or maybe discriminated against, you were living the Mormon dream.
Yes.
And overall, what would you give it? A through F, what grade would you give your Mormon experience?
Oh, easy A.
A.
Yeah.
So you were loving it and grateful for it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
And Leopoldo, you were proud of Emiy for coming here and
Of course.
living the Mormon dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And your wife, I'm sure Maria was too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did it feel difficult being away from being the only one here, being
your
away
family,
from your
yeah.
family and Italy, or did it feel like a step of empowerment for yourself, like claiming a life that's different, or both?
Or better,
I mean, it can be, yeah.
That's a very interesting question because I am definitely the mama's girl. I would cry every time my mom was out of sight. So it is very interesting that I'm the furthest away from my family. But being that I was the special gift from the mission, I was the only one with an American name. So coming over here meant it that I had fulfilled my mission, like spiritually speaking, and being not indoctrinated so much, but the idea of me being born on the mission and everything felt like I was supposed to carry this torch of somehow the church. And so when I came here, it was like I was fulfilling my mission. I had to learn English. My name is English. You know, I had to be able to be part of this world because I came into the world because of this world.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the church because they would have not gone on a mission. Maybe I would have been in another way, but to connect the dots, that's why I'm here.
Yeah, I think, Margie, many of your kids, you have often said many of your siblings might not have been born if your parents hadn't converted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think that's a thing. And Emiy is also kind of the star of the Saturday's Warrior musical. That name, Emiy, is like one of the favored children, right? So,
I mean,
I said. Yeah.
all right. So when did the faith of your pioneer Italian Mormon family start to crack? And how? When and how? I mean, you've already mentioned that your mom at some point, was she the first?
My oldest sister had some issues, not necessarily with any particular doctrine of the church, but she just had issues trying to continue to move forward. She was struggling to understand why so many rules and why so much control, and everything felt tied to her. She was a primary president, stake primary president, young woman's stake president. She was everything, but everything felt like a chore, like a job, like trying to push through, right? So she's always been kind of, why? When I came back from my mission, I would go to her house and we would read scriptures together day in, day out. And then she got her testimony back. Good. Then my niece, she kind of on the same route. She went on her mission in Greece and had some issues, came back early and struggled with some knowledge that she found, but she never shared with us. When she did share with us, it was a few years after, and she shared the story of Joseph Smith translating the Book of Mormon with the seer stones in the hat. That was the first time that I'd heard it. And, you know, just put it on the shelf. So what? So what if he translated with some stones and a hat? And then my mom started saying things like, you know, you should really study more about the church and you should really look into it. I know all there is to know. You know, I served my mission in Historical sites, for crying out loud.
I live in the United States, Mom.
I live in Mecca.
I've been to Zion.
Yes. So, put it aside, all these little things. And then my husband comes home one day and drops the bomb, and he's like, so what if there were other versions to the first vision? I know the first vision like the back of my hand. I've memorized it. I was there. Basically, I was there when it happened.
You prayed in the grove.
Yes.
Yeah. And what year, how long ago was this that your husband?
That was 2022, the end of 2022.
Okay. So 3-ish years ago.
3 years ago.
Okay.
And then I said, okay, let me go and buy you a faith crisis book. So I bought him a book on faith crisis, and I would follow him around the house with it.
Was it like shaken faith syndrome, or was it planted?
I don't even remember what it was.
Okay.
It was one of those, probably. But he didn't read it, obviously. We talked a little bit more, and he said what the 3 different versions were, and I would push back, being like, well, when you recall something years later, it changed, your memory just shifts, and you don't remember exactly. And he goes, no. The very first time that it was recorded was 12 years after it should have happened. Wait, what? Ding, 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 ding. And then I started listening more.
Yeah, and then the first version, only Jesus appeared to Joseph Smith.
Yes. And it was an angel, not even Jesus, if I remember correctly.
I mean, there's so many versions. It just depends on which one you're talking about. But
so it was a big
in the 1832 version, it's the Lord that appears to Joseph. Yeah.
And then later it changes.
But prior to that, he had never told anyone that God or Jesus appeared to him at all, but instead it was an angel.
Yep.
And the angel, by some accounts, sometimes was Moroni and sometimes was Nephi. Mm-hmm. So it was just evolving story.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
then eventually it culminates in being God and Jesus appearing to Joseph Smith.
Right.
But that's only after Joseph developed a theology that God and Jesus were separate beings. And then he changed the Book of Mormon to correspond with his evolving theology. So it starts, once you have the full story and the full historical context, it starts to look like he's making it up and changing it as he goes along.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
So I didn't mean to put those words in your mouth.
Oh, no, you said it perfectly.
Okay. So your husband starts sharing this stuff with you. You start studying it, and then what happens?
One day I listened to your podcast with Tom Phillips about the second anointing, which I knew about it because of my parents. They had mentioned it in the past.
They mentioned the second anointing to you?
Yes. What it was, it was a special sacred ordinance that has done to only special people, and an apostle comes and you and your spouse get to receive this ordinance where they wash your feet and they give you a special blessing or whatnot. And so when I was listening to the Second Anointing podcast that you did with Tom Phillips, I remembered all the things that my dad had explained, but of course he went into greater details because he actually did receive the Second Anointing. And then I don't remember exactly what part of that podcast made me go something else, made me want to research something else. But then I listened to another podcast of yours where you talk about Joseph Smith getting married to a 14-year-old, several months shy of her 15th birthday. And I remember the second that I heard that, first of all, I didn't know that he was married to other women besides Emma. My heart just sank because all the years that I'd heard people justifying those young, early marriages, like, oh, she was 15 or whatever, were justified by, at the time it was normal. People used to get married that early. Yes, they were, but they never were used to get married to people that were twice their age or more. Mm-hmm. They would get married 15, 18, maybe 3 years difference.
Or as a 22nd or 25th or 30th wife.
Which
correct. Was illegal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I had a 14-year-old daughter at the time, and my heart just dropped. And I think my husband came home that day and I said, I'm out. I don't ever want to go back to church. That was after I had sat at my last sacrament meeting and Relief Society meeting. It was after they had changed to a 2-hour meeting time. I sat on those chairs and it felt like I had fire underneath my butt. I wanted to just get up and shout, y'all are crazy. Did not, obviously. In Relief Society, I remember I was sitting in the very back with my good friend who's also questioning. She's still in though. And I remember this couple of sister missionaries bringing in a young mother with a girl, and they were Black. And I wanted to whisper, do you know what they used to? Anyway, so I just felt my heart was coming out of my chest. My seat was on fire. I needed to get out. I never sat foot back in that church afterward. That was January 2023. I was so disgusted by everything and so upset about all of the things that I had found out that it became the opposite. I wanted to become a missionary and tell everybody, get out, get out, get out. But obviously it's not the right way to do it. It's not the way that I should do anything really to declare what I know. So
let me ask you to address one common accusation, and that's when I hear anyone who I'm interviewing say it was Mormon Stories where I started learning this stuff, I cringe a tiny bit only because, some of the critics of, let's just say, honest Mormon podcasts or books or scholars will say, well, it's John Dehlin or Mormon Stories that led people out of the church. If John Dehlin weren't doing his podcast, then these fine Italian people who had such great experiences in the church would never have left. What would you say to that if somebody said, yeah, John and Mormon Stories took you out of Mormonism?
No, you did not. But you facilitated a voyage, I guess, of sadness and horror that would have been a lot worse had I not known what I know because you exist. Meaning, the church is not the only thing that's out there. There is an after-church population. I did not know that either. No, I left the church because my husband took a class at BYU 20 years ago and learned a few things that were confirmed into this article that he read at the end of 2022.
Like the CS letter?
I don't know what it was. It was an article on the internet, I believe, that he read. And yeah, that's what made me go out. The support that I received from Mormon Stories was the ability to cope with what I was going through. But I didn't even know you existed before I knew that the 3 different versions existed.
Yeah. I think the implication for people that make these claims is that it's better for you not to know the truth about the church's history because you're happy in it, which I think was true, or that if you're going to learn the truthful history, learn it from someone faithful so that you can have it contextualized in a way to where you can retain your faith. What would you say about those two things? That it would have been better for you either to not learn the history so that you would stay faithful, or learn it from someone faithful so that you wouldn't have been let out by bad framing or, contextualization of the history.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't say that what you're doing is bad framing at all.
Okay.
I think that if you are content and you don't want to open your horizons, by all means, stay right there. If you're happy, there's no reason to to dig. If you feel like there's something weird and you're doing some sort of mental gymnastic and it's starting to feel a little complicated to do those triple jumps, absolutely, go dig. Now, if you want to go dig with someone that believes, that's up to you. I do not like the idea of going through the church apologists, because to me, they're not trying to present the puzzle as it is. They're trying to move the pieces of the puzzle the way that they want you to see the pieces of the puzzle, to continue the rhetoric, to the story that is the most appealing one.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like that. I don't like the idea of finding some truth. I want to see the whole thing. If I want to look at a puzzle, I'm not looking at one piece here and one piece there. I want to see the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And now, do I want to work to put the pieces together? Probably not. So I go to a Mormon Story podcast with LDS Discussion that does that for you.
That gathers the information.
Yes, that has all the pieces of the puzzle that have been scattered because they've decomposed everything. And now they're using all of the original resources from the church that are there. They're not going to Timbuktu to ask Johnny, pardon the name,
this is
about
what we miss in Italy. We don't have access to this kind of access to this information. So we are like this way, no? We go straight, that's it.
Yeah. And anything that differs from what they're used to look at, they don't look at because it's not coming from the church.
Even because it's difficult, we don't have access.
And they don't have access. That's the reality of most people outside of the United States, especially if it's a different language.
Mm-hmm. And this is
they don't know.
This is why now, who is baptized in Italy?
Right. He wanted me to say earlier that missionaries are being called to Italy now. I have two friends whose kids have been called in the last 6 months to go to Italy, Spanish speaking, because Italians are not getting converted anymore.
And what? Yes. Okay. So let me ask a couple questions to you, Leopoldo, before we talk about missionary work in Italy today. So Emily, how did things spread within your family? Did your mom leave before you or after you?
Before me.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when your mom started questioning, doubting at what year about?
2021.
Okay.
2020.
Yeah.
So
2021.
She started doubting and questioning before your husband even came to you.
Yes.
So did she share her doubts and concerns with you?
Yes.
And what was that like for you?
I thought she was senile, honestly. I was like, oh, she's just, she's done.
Woman.
She's done with everything. She just sees darkness everywhere. She's negative.
Wow.
And is that where you referenced earlier, she would say to you, maybe you should dig a little bit. It'd be good for you that was during that time that she was saying that?
Yes.
I mean, that is a red flag. If the woman who raised you your entire life, who raised you with integrity, with hard work, with commitment, who's a smart, capable person, tells you at some point, hey, there's a problem in this church I raised you in, you ought to look at it. And your answer is effectively, you're a senile old woman. I don't trust you. I think that's a red flag. I'm not trying to, I'm not saying that is on you. I think that's on the conditioning.
Right. Yes.
That you were raised with
Correct.
in the church.
And you know what's funny? The one that took it the hardest, she was in tears, was my oldest sister.
Who had already stopped believing?
Mm-hmm.
What? Tell us about that.
She was in tears when my mom told her that the church wasn't true and that she was out. My sister was just sobbing uncontrollably.
Do you know why?
I don't know necessarily.
Because it was validating or because it was just traumatic?
Maybe both. Maybe it was you made me go through all this suffering and traumatizing for all these years, and now you're out, just like that.
Remember all those rules that were so hard.
Even the responsibility they have in the church, in the world, that forced them somehow to remain active.
Oh, you're talking about Monica.
Monica, yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about Stefania.
Okay.
My second sister, she's still active in the church. And so maybe that's what she was thinking too. Like she's just senile or whatever. I don't know exactly what she's thinking, but she's still active. She never left. So they're still very much
She's the one that when I talk about against the church, they say, oh, give me proof.
Right. My brother-in-law and my sister ask him for proof, but he doesn't have any because he can't really translate articles or go into archives and stuff like that. So,
what was it like for you, Leopoldo, when Maria came to you and expressed some of her doubts or feelings about the church? What was it like for you?
Well, and I'll even say, it sounds like your wife, Maria, your oldest daughter, and Emiy all started doubting and or leaving the church before you. Is that right?
Yeah.
So what was that like to have your wife and two daughters all lose their faith when you were the pioneer of the church in Italy?
Yeah, it has been hard but not because of the religion, not because of this history of the religion. I accepted it, probably because I was tired to see all the stuff that was going on internal of the church, and somehow I compared to the Catholic Church. I don't know how, but it came in my mind and the mind of my wife that it's a way to make money. That's it. They don't care too much about person. If they would care, they would not call my husband as a mission president, having the family moving from one city to another. Anyway, there is
so
no
you started
point.
To feel like, what's that?
There is not a point clear in my mind to say, okay, that's what happened in my mind when I decided to leave the church. Because fundamentally, I need to be glad by the church for what the church made with me and for me. And that's the reaction, you know. I was so proud to be a leader in the church in Italy. And now that I am confusing my mind and I want to be out of all of this, I consider also what could happen to the brethren in Italy. So somehow, when this will go around, I don't know what would happen. I don't know even how to say it. But I am sure that many will start to complain with me, and this is not important. Probably, many of them will look into what we are saying or what we have done. And maybe they will start to think with their mind, and something would happen. I am very scared at this point.
One of the things that the church always says when we go out as missionaries is you don't have to believe us. You can ask yourself. And so now that I'm out, I always try to use the same parallel and be like, you don't have to believe me. You can Google anything in the church archives and it's all there. They really are not hiding it anymore. It's all out in the open. So it's not like the church is not true. the church is true for whoever wants it to be true. And if people are okay being in the church, why bother? That's why I'm saying when he's trying to talk to my sister, don't bother. If she has questions, by all means answer. But don't go and tell, oh, but did you know that this? No, it makes no sense. It's just poking something that it's not interested in being poked.
When you say you're scared, Leopoldo, what are you scared of?
You don't know the reaction of the people.
Of Mormons in Italy?
Yeah. Especially the leaders.
What is their reaction?
They are all my friends. So what would happen? I don't know.
So they're disappointed in you. They're sad. Are they angry?
No, I don't think so. But they will start to question themselves. I hope they will start to question themselves about the church.
You want them to question?
Or would that be bad if they were to question?
I hope they will not call me. I hope.
So
Because I know that I
please
will
don't call.
start to say and they will, I imagine they saying, how come you were so strong that you were training us? I remember one time I went to Milan teaching the local leaders, stake president, and all the 12 of counselors. And we were at 9 o'clock in the night, and it was still starting 5. And I said, boy, my friend, this is not the way to lead the church. Your wife are complaining. Well, stop and go home. And I went. I said, I go. I don't want to stay with you again. I went. And they continued till midnight. And then I received all information from the wives. It's not possible. We are breaking our marriage because the husband is always in the church. And I said, well, they are right. What can I do? I give an example. I left them alone. And I was a regional representative for them. They didn't have idea what the regional representative was. So, anyway, I'm scared. Yeah. I hope that nothing would happen. But it depends much of what will go around. We don't have information. We don't know even to go to get information. So we go like horses, as I said.
So what I hear you saying is that international members of the Mormon Church join without all the information,
of course,
and remain without all the information.
Yeah.
And so they're staying members without full awareness.
The story by itself is interesting, First vision, the story, the history of all the members of the church moving from east to west. It's fascinating. But that's it. So it's good. It's good to be a Mormon because Joseph Smith, the Mormon travel, and going to the West. The West for the Italians has a meaning. The West. It's correct? So it is easy to fall into the baptism font.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And maybe this is why now no more Italian saints or Italian people became members of the church. But Spanish people, South American people, Brazilian people, Portuguese people.
African.
That is.
Yeah.
Or English people, black people.
Mm-hmm. Are you saying that Italians aren't joining the Mormon Church today because they have access to the internet?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Tu dici di sì.
I do, yes.
Okay.
What do you think it is if it's not?
No, I think that's... wow. I don't have words. No, really, I don't know exactly. Probably it's because of the internet, probably. But I don't think so. But I don't know which other reason could be.
Mm-hmm. It could be they don't like American churches. It could be they don't like churches at all.
Yeah.
It could be it's boring. It could be lots of things, right?
In a way, it's a combo of both. The internet, the ones that would like to join a church, then they dig in the internet. They see something they don't like, and then they don't. But on the other side, churches in general tend to control behaviors and people's lives in general. And young people don't like that. They are very much liberal, don't touch my space. I need to be able to do whatever I want. So maybe it's a combination
they don't care
of both.
at all about
Right?
church.
That's true.
Is the Mormon church dying in Italy? Is it decreasing? Is it weak or is it strong?
Thinking the arrival of all these new people from South America, from Brazil, from Africa, the church is growing. The church is growing.
In Italy,
Not Italian,
but not with the Italian people,
not with Italian.
with immigrants.
Yes.
Immigrant. Yeah.
Okay.
Most of
However,
them irregular.
yes, illegal. However, there has been a restructuring of the boundaries of wards and stakes in Italy. In fact, they shut down the very mission that he opened.
Oh,
Yes, and years ago, we went from 3 missions up north to 2, and 1 was a district. So they are moving numbers around to make it look like it's still growing, but it's not really. The shifting on numbers, that's what has been happening for the past 20 years. And now I don't know exactly what's going on, but in his ward where he's supposed to attend, and he does go once in a while to say hi to the members, they have more people that don't speak Italian than they do.
that speak Italian.
Right. So
Yeah.
there's more African people that speak English, or South American people that speak Spanish or Portuguese. The bishop today is actually from Brazil. So
From Brazil.
What has the construction of the Rome temple meant to Mormons in Italy? Some say they shouldn't have built the temple there because there weren't enough temple recommend holding members to really justify a temple. Some say they built it to compete with the Catholic Church or to show their power or wealth. What's your perceptions, both of you, of the Mormon temple in Rome?
when it was announced, I was seventh heaven, right? I know from him actually that to locate the land was also a disaster because everywhere you look, it's Roman ruins. So you can't build anywhere. So the finding of the lot itself was a miraculous thing. And then It took so many years to get the plans to work and to get permission from the city and then construction itself. So when we finally got to be in the temple, at the temple dedication, it was the culmination of all of the struggles for so many years. And finally we have a temple. For us, being from the northern part of Italy, Rome is 5.5 hours. So it made no sense for us to have a temple there because Switzerland, it's 4 hours away. And that was the other part, that we were not allowed to go to the Swiss temple anymore because they needed the numbers for the Rome temple. But that meant an extra 1.5 hours on the road. And that's probably what he's referring to. The church cares about numbers and not the people. Because why would you want to have members sacrifice? Entire families had to move to Rome to sustain the temple.
And in that case, Rome is Rome. So the temple in Rome is by the church, by the leaders in the church. They say, wow, we have a temple in Rome. You can imagine. But it's good for a tourist.
Yeah, I've heard that in the United States, that the main reason the Mormon church built a temple in Rome is so wealthy, affluent, prestigious Mormons, largely from Utah, when they're traveling in Europe and they're visiting Rome,
always
can have a temple to go to. Is that the majority of people that are attending the temple in Rome is wealthy Utah Mormons, basically?
No, there are some members that take the bus and the train, and they spent 2 or 3 days down there. But I do know that a lot of wealthy people from Utah tend to make that their destination, if not serve a mission there.
Yeah.
But it is interesting how when all of the apostles came to Rome,
all together,
and they were all in front of the statues of all the original apostles, and they're like, we made it back. It was like,
There's that picture of Russell M. Nelson in front of the statue of Peter, who's holding a key, meaning he got the key of authority from Jesus. And Russell M. Nelson standing there holding that key as if he's really the one that has the keys.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, see?
You didn't know that?
He didn't. I did.
It's a little tacky, I think. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, was it exciting for you, Leopoldo, to see an Italian temple?
Of course.
Yeah.
We were praying for that.
Yeah.
But as my father said, we have 1.5 hours to go to the Swiss temple and 5 hours to go to Rome.
Yeah.
Now, I think that has been mentioned, the temple in Milan.
What?
Someone told me.
No.
There might be a temple in Milan someday.
I have not heard that, but...
Well, I mean, Russell M. Nelson announced 300, some crazy number, 300 temples to be built. So
who knows?
there's going to be one. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess, Leopoldo, I do want to ask you, was it sad for you to be a pioneer for the Mormon church in Italy, and then to have so many of your family and eventually yourself lose your Mormon faith completely? Was that sad or happy?
No, I am not sad. I admit I am not even happy, because the many people that I know would be involved. But yes, if it is possible to clear the church in Italy, it would be good. It would be a benefit for all my friends.
If what happens? What do you want to happen?
That leave the church.
That you want your friends to leave the church?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me ask you that. So, if you agree that the Mormon church was so good for you and your family
At the beginning.
and if you agree that the second and third generations of Mormon Italians did really well, I could see a church leader saying, Leopoldo, just keep it to yourself. You don't believe anymore. That's fine. But you yourself, Leopoldo, believe that the church has been good for many Italian families. Let them enjoy the church. Be quiet, leave the church quietly, and let them enjoy their Mormon Italian lives.
I am responsible.
Yeah.
For what?
Calling those leaders, preparing those leaders. I am responsible. So
It's his fault
I need
they
to
got
do
the
something
church.
Yeah, that's heavy.
if I want to protect them
From what?
or help them.
Protect them from what or help them what?
Protect them da falsità.
From the falsehoods, from all the fake.
And also to correct the false informations.
Right.
So you decided at some point the church wasn't true, the Mormon church wasn't true. Is that right?
Yeah.
And what were the main things for you that led you to believe the Mormon church wasn't true?
I'm collecting all the information through my daughter and other person. And this changed the picture. So at the beginning, I had the small picture and it was okay. Now, the picture is enlarged. And I would say that if I would be capable to help some of my friends, leader of the church in Italy, understand what's going on and what is that they have to look a little bit above the picture they have received, they maybe will be happy.
I think it's a bit of a conundrum because he's saying that they can be happy in or out. If they're happy in, he's saying maybe I can help them be happy out. But at the same time, if they're happy in, why do you need to help them be happy out? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I'm hearing that there's an aspect of responsibility, like you're feeling responsible. And I think that is a key part here.
But just because I feel responsible, just because I have been their leader, I feel involved and I love them and I wish, for example, explaining that you can live a very good life without being restricted in those lot of rules. To be free, if you want to drink a coffee, you will drink a coffee. That doesn't mean that you will be addicted to the coffee or the alcohol. I never drank coffee and wine, not because I am a Mormon, because I was that way even before. So for me, it was not the difficulty to. The only thing was the tithing.
Yes.
That for sure. In Italy, those that pay tithing, I don't know really how many pay tithing. But anyway, let's assume that all the leaders pay tithing. Let's just assume. If I can able to explain them that the church is wrong, they will start to understand even that, I will not be obliged to dress the garment. I will not be obliged to pay tithe and to pay fast offering. Well, that makes a difference. So this is my dream now. Maybe it will remain a dream. But just because I am too old and I don't have more energy, but let's try.
I think that one of the things that shocked him the most was when I told him about the IRS fining of the shell companies and all of that. That really struck a chord for him. None of that went overseas.
Do you feel, Leopoldo, like the Mormon church has been hiding its wealth and its money and that members in Italy don't know how wealthy the church is?
Probably they know, because it's quite simple. 15 million people, let's say 10 million are active and they pay tithing. And so just calculate a little bit. Oh, I did it.
Mm-hmm.
I made a kind of calculation. I said, wow, it should be difficult to manage that much money. I am not sure that, while my daughter said that the church has a lot of attorneys, technicians that manage the money. But I would say it should be very difficult to manage that amount of money.
What do you think about the Mormon church being worth over $300 billion?
I cannot even figure that amount of money.
What do you think about the average Italian immigrant family being asked to pay tithing when you know that the Mormon church is worth almost $500 billion?
I hope they will not pay. I hope they will be smart enough to stop or to not even start to pay tithing.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've seen family asking the bishop, I need a little bit of money to buy the bread for my children. Can I? And the bishop fortunately has money and paid. But il ritorno del pagamento delle offerte non è mai sufficiente. I don't know how to explain that.
Cos'è il ritorno del pagamento?
oh, the in tithing settlement, they were told they didn't pay enough money.
It is not enough to help people, poor people, to take them out of starvation. So it's, and how much money goes to the church? How much money goes to the church?
Yeah.
Il ritorno non è sufficiente.
Non so cos'è il ritorno.
The return, the benefit.
Tu paghi 100 e ne benefici 2.
Oh, so what comes back to you is not enough.
Yeah, it benefits the corporation. It doesn't benefit necessarily the people that actually need the money in the moment or the help. Yeah.
Were you upset when you learned that the church was hiding its wealth from the members?
No, I don't think so. It's just to the members in Italy, they don't care.
To you, were you upset?
No, I was not upset.
Che la Chiesa ha nascosto i soldi?
We don't know that.
Got it.
How about you, Emily? Was that upsetting to you?
Oh, yeah.
What was upsetting to you?
They're asking us to be super honest in all of our dealings, and then they just can't even be honest with the IRS.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I thought we were supposed to obey the law of the land. Apparently not.
Yeah, for those who don't know, the Mormon Church was fined $5 million by the Securities and Exchange Commission a couple of years ago for setting up like 19 shell companies to hide its wealth and to not have to pay appropriate taxes or do public disclosures that would allow the world and its members to see its $300 billion plus dollars of wealth. What's that?
We don't know that.
None of that information
we
goes
don't
overseas.
care about those because we don't have this information.
Do you think if Italian members had that information, they would
They will not believe you.
They wouldn't believe you.
Yeah, because this is what you are saying.
Yeah.
What are the proofs?
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah. I mean, it really is a genius thing to be able to create a church where you can make members want to work so hard that even when you tell them not to work so hard, they're going to work till midnight anyway. And even when you tell them that the church has committed fraud or that the church's history is a problem, they won't believe it.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty, that's pretty special.
Yeah.
And some other adjectives.
That's a lot of power, right?
Yes.
Where even when the members are, I mean, it reminds me of the latest Wicked movie where when, I don't know if it was Elphaba or Glinda asks the Wizard of Oz why don't you tell the people the truth? And literally the Wizard of Oz says, because they won't believe it. It's true. They won't.
No.
Yeah. Especially if they're in a foreign country.
Yeah.
And they're just, but I mean, that's an argument for the church in Italy. Maybe for some, it's, hey, if it's blessing their lives, who cares what's happening in Salt Lake City? Yeah. It's blessing the lives of the members in Italy.
Yeah.
And even if they're immigrants are good, important people too.
Yeah.
Who cares if they don't speak Italian and they're not native Italians? If the Mormon church is helping Africans or Spanish speakers in Italy, that's great.
Yep.
I have the example of my son-in-law of the second daughter. I'm telling him, well, you never checked into detail of the church. Who cares? But I tell this, who told you that? Someone has information. Let me see the information. And those information doesn't go to Italy. So he remains nella nebbia, no?
In the fog. Also, if you don't speak English, even if the information comes across the pond, you don't know what it means.
Like there isn't LDS discussions
I know,
in
that's what I'm
Italian.
trying to go.
There isn't, I don't know if there's an Italian version of the CES letter, but even if there were, Italian Mormons wouldn't know that it existed, let alone how to find it.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
But like this one, only those that are interested in internet maybe will have access, but it is in English.
Yeah.
Right.
So another limitation.
Yeah.
There's so much misinformation in the church in Italy. So many.
And not only in Italy.
No, I'm speaking in Italy because I'm from there. That's my experience. Just the fact that he had to go and do the endowment session and get married in Sweden. Was in Swedish?
Yeah.
He was endowed and did not even know what he was saying.
Oh.
They were sealed. That's unreal to me. But like the fact that we distort the little information that we get from the headquarters. For example, there were no chapels in Italy. There were no Mormon chapels in Italy at one point. And people wanted to get married in the church. However, there was no temple in Italy at the time. So you'd have to get married civilly first, and then you'd go to Switzerland to get sealed. Because of the rule that exists in Utah and Arizona and Idaho, that you cannot take pictures in the sacrament rooms, people were not allowed to have their pictures taken at their wedding, civil wedding, because they were in
chapels.
But we don't have chapels in it. We didn't have chapels in Italy. So in the cultural hall, that's what it was. It was so bizarre. My dad fought for years trying to explain that there are no chapels in Italy. We play volleyball in here. We do, we have, what are they called? Talent shows in here. Why can't I have a picture of my daughter's civil wedding? It's not the ceremony. That's not the sealing. It's not even sacrament. Right. It's like the pulpit was completely removed at point because it was the cultural hall. It was, and now the leaders were like, no, but it says here, once they did get the manuals translated, it says here that you cannot
not take a picture.
It was bizarre how they would become so strict to what it said on the manual and not being able to translate it to an Italian circumstance. I am renting this church. This is an apartment, and I'm not allowed to take a picture in here. Why?
Right.
But you see how the mentality got so narrowed and so like, tunnel focused.
So Emily, what has your life been like since you and your family leaving the church in Arizona, of all places? Has
Yes.
it been happier, sad, mixed?
It has
Obvious.
been fantastic, to say the least. The first 6 months were horrible. I felt like screaming and kicking every time I would see anything church related. And then, it became I'm sorry for the ones that are still in that are not comfortable. The ones that are in are comfortable, I'm happy for them. But the ones that have to do the mental gymnastics and they're like, what is going on here? Those are the ones that I'm sorry for, that I wish that I could help, or that I wish that I could just, hey, just, there's happiness on the other side too. It's not like what they express all the time, that there's no happiness outside the church. There's plenty.
And Emily, I'm also wondering, regarding your own mental health, regarding your marriage, regarding your role as a parent, friendships, community. There's a lot of different aspects aspects of your life that leaving the Mormon church impacts. What would you say about, all of those different dimensions of your life in terms of better, worse, happier, sad, healthier, less healthy? What would you say?
There was a transition a time where I was so concerned for my kids. If not here, then where? I realized that, most of the things that the church teaches are good principles anyway. And all of a sudden that structure is gone. I don't have the teachers at church. I don't have the companionship that the kids had with their class friends and stuff. And so it felt like it was literally falling all on our shoulders as parents. But at the same time, it's not like we're beating our kids. We are good parents. And so it took a minute to realize that, yes, we've lost a great support system, but the teachings that were not in line with our core beliefs that the church was providing would have been more damaging to our kids than all of the good teachings that the church provides.
Were most of your friends and community and your kids' friends and community Mormon before y'all left the church?
Basically, yes. We live west of Phoenix, so not in the Mormon pocket of Arizona, but still predominantly, mostly members of the church. In high school for my son, he had like 3 or 4 members of the church that he would hang out with. My daughter, now we're homeschooling all of our kids. They've been homeschooled for the past 5 years. 7 years. I'm sorry, 7 years. So basically the church was the friends that they had. And we live in a neighborhood where most of the people, every other street there is a Mormon family at least. So yeah, we were pretty connected with our ward. However, me being the introvert that I am, I didn't really have very many friends. Now my husband talks to everybody, so everybody knows him and he knows everybody. But I had my 2 or 3 friends, and I'm still really good friends with them. Just don't really interact with them as much or at all, except with one that I was mentioning earlier.
And is that more you not wanting to remain close with them not wanting to remain close with you since you left, or both?
Probably both. I don't reach out really, and they don't reach out. So I'm guessing it's both.
And so if somebody were to say, why not just keep the friendship and don't let church come between friends? What would you say?
That's a good question. Mm-hmm. I don't think I feel like I would be imposing on a friendship like that because I'm out. So I'm the one that took myself out. So if they want to continue the friendship, I think that it should be from them. If they feel safe approaching me, kind of a thing.
Because you would be worried to negatively influence them.
Right.
Sounds like
right.
you don't want to negatively influence
Absolutely.
them.
No.
Isn't it so complicated? Because
Yes.
both of you are saying, I want people to know the truth, and people are being misled, and there might be harm. And you're saying, I don't want to damage them, and I don't want to ruin their faith and take them out. You feel both, don't
Yeah.
you?
Big conundrum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So socially, it sounds like overall you've lost friends.
Again, I didn't really have very many friends,
Yeah.
but the one true friend that I had since the day I moved to Arizona is still with me.
That's
so I'm
good.
good. All I
Shout
need
out
is
to
one
her.
good
Shout
friend.
out to her.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right.
My
I
friend
guess I
Becky.
meant your kids overall, and yeah.
Yes.
Anyway,
For your kids at the point with which you left, were they having a stellar experience within the church? Was it just like, were they just hitting it and loving it at that point overall? Or were they having a mixed kind of experience? Or like, how has it been for them?
Okay. So when we told our kids, our oldest son, I knew it. I've always known it. It was
known
over.
what?
That it was not true.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess he was the smart one. I don't know. But anyway, he was joyous, overjoyous. A couple weeks before that, or more, I guess a couple months before that, had just bought a quadruple combination for
Scriptures.
all of our girls and for everybody with their names and everything. And our third daughter, middle daughter, she had created like this little shrine in her room with the picture of Jesus and Joseph Smith and the scriptures, and she just fell apart. She was in tears. The other two were like,
Right.
okay, well, I like the friends, but it's okay. Not much, but
Has it caused a shift for the ones that had friends who are members? Has it caused a pretty big shift for them as well?
I wouldn't say there has been a shift. Again, they had friends, but they were church friends.
Yeah.
They're very involved with sports, so they have their sports friends. So
Got
it
it.
wasn't like, we're missing our friends. We still have friends. We still have fun with other things. So
Yeah,
it hasn't been too traumatic for them.
It's nice.
Yes.
So overall, individually and familially happier and healthier, would
Correct.
you say, Emily?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
No
very
regrets?
freeing, I can breathe now, and decisions that I make are mine. I don't have to report to a bishop or anybody. I don't have to pray to God to know if I have the right to go somewhere versus another. The first freeing thought that I had was, it was always me.
Meaning what?
I consider myself agnostic right now. I don't know that there's a God. I don't deny that there's a God. Maybe there is. Whatever. But when I said that statement, it empowered me so much, realizing that through all my life, I made all those choices. I decided the direction of my life. I wasn't a puppet being told where to go and what to do by the Spirit or God or whatever. It was always me. I was the one in charge of the ship, steering, and the ship came here because of me. And it's going to go wherever it goes because of me, no one else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then, Leopoldo, do you miss being an active member of the church and being, I don't want to say worshipped, but being respected by an entire country for being a Mormon pioneer in Italy? Do you miss all that?
No,
What?
no. It's, I miss friends.
Huh?
Only I miss friends.
Okay.
See,
Not-
he's a social butterfly.
So have you stopped being their friends, or have they stopped being your friends?
well, first of all, nobody knows that I left the church.
Oh.
That's the problem.
Oh, maybe they'll
That's
learn
why
now.
I commented first. I said, I'm scared about how many phone calls I will receive.
Okay.
So I am in a position to evaluate that.
You're saying once this podcast is released, you're worried about
Yeah.
how many phone calls you
Right.
receive.
Right.
Got it.
But how many of your friends speak English?
That's the problem. Very few.
See, it's not a problem then.
Well, I guess word could get around that Leopoldo went on an anti-Mormon, and I'm saying it in air
Quote
quotes,
unquote, yes.
an anti-Mormon podcast, and that he's dangerous and bad now. I mean, are you worried that that might happen?
No, the only thing I worry is, will they be still my friends?
Yeah.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't want to be my friend again, I am used to say, who cares?
Yeah.
They have free agency. So they decided to leave me alone. I will find other if I have the time to create new friends.
Mm-hmm. How old are you right now?
86.
Margie noted, and I totally agree, that it's rare for us to have somebody of your seasoned status on Mormon Stories. And I think it's also very rare, and I would say impressive or courageous on some level, for somebody in their 80s when they, there's this idea of the sunk cost fallacy that once people invested so much of their life and their years and their time and their reputation to something, the momentum is such that they don't want to change or admit that they were wrong and so it's kind of remarkable in your mid 80s that you're willing to consider what you've given your life to, and that you've been willing to come to a public conclusion that it wasn't what you thought.
My life has been a remarkable way of doing. So this is another step.
Yeah.
Who knows what would be in the next 2 years, 10 years, or 15 years.
We love it. We love to hear it.
15 more years of
It's
Leopoldo.
not over till it's
I love
over.
it.
Come on.
I am trying to do all I can to survive, or as long as my brain is good, I can go.
That's right. Well, pasta's been very good for the brain. The
racist,
olive oil.
Wow.
I'm kidding. That's inspiring.
It is
That's
inspiring.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are saying too many good things to me. I'm not used to.
Okay. Too much flattery. Do you regret joining the Mormon Church when you were in your 20s? Do you regret it?
No, I was happy.
Okay.
I was happy. My family too. It was a newness.
Mm-hmm.
It's surprising.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Can be correct this? Oh, let's read the Book of Mormon. It was the only thing we had.
Mm-hmm.
So, wow. And when we were in need of some information, missionaries, the elders, oh God, tell me about this. How should be a good Mormon during the week, during the day. So we were come una spugna pronta da assorbire.
We were absorbing as sponges everything that came out of their mouth.
And that is,
So you have happy memories of
yes.
being a Mormon in Italy and of growing the Mormon Church in Italy.
Especially, I was enjoying the contracts with the Catholics. We were, even with the other religions, we had the Jehovah's Witnesses in Brescia, and we were meet them in their chapel and argue with them.
Argue with them? I did not know that. I did not participate.
You were not there.
I was alive.
So is part of you sad to lose your Mormon faith?
No. Sad for my friends.
Okay.
That I probably will lose.
Yeah.
But for other things, I feel good. I feel even better than before.
Really? Better
Yeah.
than before? Why?
Yeah, before being a member.
Oh.
Especially because in my word, I was not recognized. You know, I am proud. I am not being recognized. Then why should I come to the church? And I decided to stop. I am too proud. They know. And this caused me a lot of problems, but I am proud. What can I say? I always been, even in my work, I always have been the first. In all company I work at, I was the first.
The top.
I cannot be the second. So I have been the first member of the church. I have been the first Italian mission president. I was the first. Regional representative. I was the first. Why should I think about the second? That shows how proud I am.
We need some weights to keep him on the ground here. He's floating away.
It's clearly been good for his health.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to just ask quickly if you feel like you've had to face existential, like the fear of death, or I think that's something that comes up for people, is that religion offers something within death that gives them hope. And I was just curious if either of you have felt like that's something that you've had a journey with, or once you lose the belief in the church, and did you also lose the belief in an afterlife or not?
Cosa credi nel dopo vita? Cosa c'è nell'aldilà? Qual è la tua
I
credenza?
asked my wife, we were in agreement. The first that goes there, please come back and tell me. She didn't say anything, so I don't believe anything.
Okay.
We shall see.
You'll see.
Okay. So do you believe in God now?
Yes and no.
Okay.
More no than yes.
Okay.
On more of a no tilt.
Yeah,
Yes tilt.
everything is changed. So
Emily, can I ask you about the experience of the loss of your mom? If there were any insights or things that kind of came to you in that experience around death, around life, around what's important.
Mm-hmm. It became very clear as soon as I realized that there might not be an afterlife, that the now and here is the only thing that matters, and it's the most important thing.
yeah,
And so my mom became ill. I tried to spend as much time as I could with her. And then it was a goodbye. I don't know if I'm going to see you again. It'd be nice, but this might be it. And that felt really bitter for a minute because I started thinking about all of the ancestors that I don't even know about because I don't know. 2,000 years ago, I came from someone that was alive 2,000 years ago, but I don't know anything about them. And it made it a little bit sad. But at the same time, I realized that it's important to live the now and then, like the now that we're in, with the people that we're in. Because that's all the bubble that we're going to have anyway. It doesn't matter 200 years from now, they're not going to remember me or my mom. That's not what's important.
Yeah.
But back then, when I was a believer, it made it so that I needed to know about my ancestor, and I needed to understand life before and life after. It was so broad. The view was so broad that I was like, I'm not even going to have time to study all this stuff, to learn all this stuff here. And so I got to the point when I was still a member of the church or true believing Mormon. I was like, oh, it's okay. I'll learn all that when I'm dead. So to me, it became, okay, when I die, I'm going to have a perfect brain. I'm going to know everything. So why struggle now? And now that I know that there might not be a then, I'm like, today is it. 1 second at a time. I get to enjoy my family. I get to enjoy life. I get to enjoy this moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about one of the church would say, and maybe this will be our last question. The church would say that its grandest teaching, its biggest value is that it allows there to be eternal families. That if you get married in a Mormon temple, if you get sealed in a Mormon temple, if your children get sealed to you in a Mormon temple, then you and your spouse and your children can live forever in the celestial kingdom with God. The church would teach that once you lose your faith and leave the church, you lose your eternal family. Why are you laughing, Leopoldo? You're not supposed to laugh about something so serious.
At the end, I came at the point where I say, if it is true, which kind of God will condemn me? He being so lovely, how come he would chase me? So I said, okay. Everyone has the reason. Believe what you want. Let me believe what I want. So I closed that.
So you don't believe a loving God would separate people from their family in heaven? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. If it is not a God, whatever.
Yeah.
As I said, my wife didn't come to tell me anything. So how can I believe?
Right.
Nobody came.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Live the best life you can. Make friends. Make your family. Raise your family. What do you need more than that?
Mm. Wow.
What is important? What would be? My wife is there, 2 meters below the ground, still there. She didn't move. So, fantasy. We don't need fantasy.
I think
That's powerful.
That is
Emily,
powerful.
thank you. Emily, I want to hear your answer too, but thank you, Leopoldo.
I think that it's the principle of the carrot dangling. If the church presented this beautiful picture of an afterlife, then they have all that much power to control what you do in this life so that you can get to that carrot at the end. And it's, yes, the church teaches good principles. And yes, it does help families. And yes, it can be a good thing. But just like when in the past it was promised that Jesus was on its way back and then it never showed up, and whose fault it was the members' fault. After a while that carrot is being dangled and it doesn't actually happen, not that I want to die tomorrow to see if the carrot is there, but like he said, nobody has come back to tell us that the carrot is actually there. So if you want to feel that the carrot is there and you want to live your life according to that, by all means do. I choose to live the carrot now, to eat my carrot now. I want to be with my family now. I want to spend my life alive now in the way that I want to spend my life, not according to some person in their 90s mind.
Beautiful. What do you think, Margie?
Yeah, I loved it. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I'll just say again, I think Emily, you reached out to us first.
Yes.
I think you applied to be on Mormon Stories.
Yes, I did.
And then you told us about your dad, and we were just, we waited. I think you waited very patiently until your dad could come from Italy.
Mm-hmm.
And so, wow, this has been a long journey for you guys. And we just want to say, Leopoldo, thank you so much for coming all the way to Utah.
I hope it was my pleasure.
Oh,
I hope.
yeah.
You never know. Maybe in the future we will hear something different. But anyway,
For now,
for now, it's okay.
well, we're very grateful for sure
Thank
now for your willingness to share your wisdom and your learning and to exemplify the courage that you have shown us.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Emily, it's been so beautiful to get to know you and your husband and your dad, and for you also to share with us your story, because none of this would have happened without you.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Margie and I like to end with just a couple final questions. Is there, do either of you have a favorite book or movie that you would recommend?
Or TV show.
To our audience? Favorite book, movie,
really,
TV show?
I don't have.
No?
I'm not a very lecture member.
Okay.
Life is
book or-
beautiful.
Oh, the Italian
Oh, the movie?
Oscar-winning
Oh,
movie, Life is
gosh.
Beautiful,
Yes.
about an Italian dad and his son in a concentration
is
camp, and
such
that
a
won an Academy
parenting-
Award. Yeah.
Gosh.
Life is Beautiful. Okay.
Yes.
And then what's something that's been making you happy lately or lighting you up, bringing you joy lately in your life?
Nothing. The only thing is the bad thing when my wife passed away. Then after that, nothing is good.
Okay.
Oh, come on. Visiting me here is good.
Tu sei un appendice.
Oh, I'm an appendix.
Okay. All right, for you, Emily, what's been lighting you up or bringing you joy lately, besides your dad?
Coming here.
Oh, okay. Coming to Mormon Stories.
Yes. Coming to meet you both and to be able to share my story and to, just to get to know you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And then is there one person you look up to, someone that you really admire or look up to in your life?
C'è una persona che tu ammiri
Dove?
in generale nella tua vita?
Fuori di mia moglie nessuno.
Nobody except my wife, he said.
Maria.
Yeah.
Maria. All right. Emily?
Probably my husband.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Even though he helped cause this mess or because he helped cause
He is
this
a mess, and that's why I love him.
I love it.
He's my mess.
I love it. All right. Well, Leopoldo, thank you so much for joining us today on Mormon Stories. We hope your friends treat you well. Your Mormon friends treat you well when you get back to Italy.
Okay.
Hey, Mormons in Italy, be nice to Leopoldo. Treat him with love. Stay his friend. Keep your beliefs and keep your friendship with Leopoldo.
Give him all the love he deserves.
Yeah. He's still a pioneer, still a good guy. Treat him with love, Mormon Italians, even with respect. And again, Emily, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you
Yeah.
both.
Thank you.
All right. And Margie, thanks for joining us.
Yes, absolutely.
Couple quick things. We're only 3,000 away from hitting our 300,000 subscriber mark on YouTube. So please take a minute to subscribe to this channel. If you don't mind, we would love to hit that 300,000 mark. It helps just make people want to come on the show. So please do that. We really do encourage you to apply. We would love to have at least one person or couple from pretty much all the major countries in the world. We did Canada recently. We did Croatia recently. We did Kenya, recently, and
India
recently, and it's so amazing to do Italy. But if you represent a country, if you come from a country or were born or raised in a country that Mormon Stories has not covered yet in terms of sharing a Mormon story, please apply. Mormonstories.org/apply is how you apply. The 3-minute video is the most important part, and that's where you just tell us why you think your story would be interesting to our audience. And so please apply. That's how these people got on, and that's how you can get on. Also, we don't need you to be from a foreign country to be on Mormon Stories. We just want to hear good storytellers telling good stories. And it helps to be able to demonstrate that you understand our audience, that you've listened to a lot of Mormon Stories, so that you can help us know that that you're certain that what you have to share would match well with who our audience is. So please apply. Thank you for everyone who donates to Mormon Stories and the Open Stories Foundation. We couldn't do this without our donors. If you are not a donor and you value our content, our donations are in decline. I'm sure that has something to do at least with the economy. And also I'm sure it has to do with a lot of people. There's a lot of shows competing for support, and that's all good. We just want people to do what works for them. But if you do value Mormon Stories and you want to see it continue and you're in a position to support us financially, you can go to mormonstories.org/donate and become a monthly donor, and that will help keep us going. So please consider supporting us. Also, please know we really appreciate Brooklyn and Julia for all they do behind the scenes, and Margie and our board and the LDS discussions crew. There's so many people that help make all this possible. I want to thank all of them as well. And thank you, our listeners. Please like these episodes. Please comment. We love your comments on YouTube and on Spotify. And we love your emails. So always feel free to email us at mormonstories@gmail.com. And we'd love to get your feedback, your thoughts, even your criticisms if they're thoughtful and respectful. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for joining us on Mormon Stories. Be good to each other. Be kind to each other. How do you say goodbye in Italian?
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci. Arrivederci. Thanks for joining us. And we'll see you all again soon on another episode of Mormon Stories Podcast. Take care.